So good, we're not recording.
Yeah. I mean, I can do it afterwards. She said, let's
Do
begin.
it now.
Well, we're recording now,
We are
so
recording now.
Oh,
All right. Go. Do it. Have at.
no, I can't do it.
you know, Jordan, performance hit problems are not that uncommon. 1 in 3 men.
Yeah.
Oh, on that note,
I
welcome
expected as
to
much in
our
case of toy.
shenanigans today. Oh, today's going to be a crazy day. Thank you, all our audience, for tuning in and joining us. I feel like I should almost apologize. It's going to be one of those days.
Garrett's not here.
Yes,
you
Garrett. As you can see, we are missing a Garrett today. He will be back next session, so just hang in there. He will return.
If he lives.
Oof. Well, thank you for coming along with us on today's adventure. We hope that this watching this with us, hanging out with us for this little bit, brings a spot of sunshine to your day or a distraction from the chaos of the world around us. And guys, it does feel like the world is going mad around us. We can muddle through and do our best, but as we do, let's remember to evaluate our actions before we act, to educate ourselves before we make snap decisions, and to always, always remember to love our neighbors. Do we have any announcements for today? We already said we're missing a Garrett. Anything else going on?
We won't be July 4th. Are we going to be playing? We might be. Stay tuned.
Well, stay tuned.
We might be dark next week. That's what we're at.
We'll see. We will see. We don't know just yet. Stay tuned. Shall we go ahead and jump into the session for today?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So, when last we left our heroes. What? Why are we laughing?
Keep going.
Okay. When last we left our heroes, the 11th hour had a few late night encounters. Val had sent messages to Rissa, as was his norm, and when she responded, she let him know that Liren had been located, finally, after all this time. Some 4 months that she had gone missing, her location had finally been found. She had asked for Val's assistance in the recovery effort, and Val agreed to bring it up with the 11th hour. Later on in the wee hours of the morning, Solyux was awakened by Varlin, the innkeeper's son, who said that a lady upstairs had sent him to see if Solyux would come to meet her. Solyux agreed, waking Val and Doran to accompany him, and they went upstairs to find Kahir. She begged for the truth, to know if the 11th hour had truly killed her family or not, and was ultimately persuaded by Solyux that at least some of her crew had been left alive last they saw. She told him that her entire crew was gone and assumed it was a punishment from the Brotherhood for the failed assassination attempt. Kahir agreed to wait until morning to get further information and perhaps receive a mission or some sort of information to further her vendetta against the Brotherhood. And during breakfast revealed a new facet of their abilities. Kahir revealed themselves as a changeling, able to take on other forms and faces as needed. They'd taken on a new male form overnight in an effort to disguise or protect themselves, but that only seemed to sow distrust towards them from the 11th hour. After getting more information from Rissa, including a visit in person, and a lengthy discussion, the 11th hour agreed to go help with Liren's rescue if Rissa had promised to return them to this world when that task is completed. Rissa agrees, and after a very brief passage through the Sanctum, the group emerges onto a new world for the first time in a long time. That's where we'll go ahead and we'll pick up the session for today. So, you have just come through the very barren, much diminished Sanctum. The smell of rot and decay, this musty, dusty sort of age-worn smell still sort of fills your nostrils as you're passing one by one very quickly through the doorway. Rissa is holding it open, and you can see the effort it is taking, the toll it is having on her. You emerge into an open room tables are pushed to the sides. It is late morning into early afternoon. The light is streaming through the front windows as you step into what appears to be the front of an inn. There are 7 other forms that are awaiting you in this place, and you recognize some of them. Val, you recognize most of them. You have met most of these people before on your various travels to and from the Sanctum, but some of them are familiar to all of you. First, your eyes alight on Belle, the halfling keeper who you had met on your very first mission for the Sanctum.
Oh.
You also see Nabia and Jazira, who had been 2 gnomes who had spent some time with Gribble in the early days of the Sanctum. Val, you also recognize Alma, a human woman with short dark hair, and Kyron, a half-elf who you know has very intense martial arts abilities and keeps himself strong and fit. You also recognize Zay, a tabaxi, who enjoys the sneaky sort of more subtle missions, tends to go in and out quickly. And Perrin, who is a half-elven keeper on a world you went to sometime last year. You had a very quick visit there with him and his twin. As you emerge into this room filled with these other characters, Rissa closes the door behind you, and you turn and you see her, and she almost collapses. Her hand holding onto the door handle seems to be just about the only thing holding her up. And you can see the wear and tear that protecting you from the passage through the Sanctum has taken on her.
I'll rush over to her and kind of help her find a seat.
Okay. Perrin goes and assists you, and you can feel the healing energies that he's trying to help restore her with. As you walk her over to the seat, unfortunately, these energies do not seem to have much of an effect. She smiles up at you and thanks you for your assistance, but it's just, we'll all be for the better once we can get it stabilized, handle the passage a bit easier. And you see, even more than when you had met her earlier this morning, just a handful of hours ago, she is well and truly exhausted at this point.
Did we just get pooped out by the Sanctum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just making sure.
In and out. Belle comes over, and she smiles at you. She's like, well, if y'all aren't a sight for, well, I must say it's quite a relief to see you. It's been a bit. You look like you're holding up well, though, nice and strong. How you been doing?
Who is this one again?
This is Belle. She
was the keeper of the world.
The snake world.
Yes.
The snake world. Okay, right.
She and Thorn, her dwarven husband, had run
Right.
the inn, the Blade and Bow, on the
That
world
was-
you now know as Illyria.
Oh, a long time ago. Okay, got you. Yep.
War in the north.
It was about 6 months ago. Just right around 6 months ago when you met Belle.
Okay.
How is the war in the north going?
That's all Hubbard would talk about. She
Oh,
was
well,
pretty good at believing.
it's still underway. The guardsmen haven't made their way back yet, and there's still some sort of conflict going on up there. We're a bit removed from it, but I mean,
Hubbard's
Very well.
convinced that it's tied into this in some manner. I do not believe so.
Well, my friend, I might have a slightly higher intelligence rating than you do.
Well, that just seems offensive, don't you believe? Well, obviously doing quite
Only if
well,
it's a
Belle. We have been tracking books on the world that we just came from. It's good to see that you are doing fine. How did your world fare in all of this?
all told, we've been handling things pretty well. Nary a hiccup over on our end. Thorn and I have been keeping a solid eye out, but it's all been all quiet so far. Oh, we did manage to make that delivery that you had requested, Mr. Halberd, and we're told to pass on our thanks, and you'll be pleased to know that the recipient.
It's been a little
I'm
while.
excited.
We've had quite the time in the past.
We almost died.
A couple times.
We did die.
Well, you didn't.
A few of y'all did.
Yes.
Mr. Ilda did pass on his gratitude for returning his sister's ring to him.
Very good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad he got it safely. Thank you for taking care of that.
You're quite welcome. If you ever get a chance, he did say he'd love to thank you in person. He and his wife would love to host you if you ever do manage to make your way on to Illyria.
We are going on vacation once the world is saved.
Which world?
Yes.
There's so many.
Whichever one we feel like needs
Saving.
yes.
Well, currently, I suppose this one.
This
Rissa,
world.
Yes, sir.
is this all that we can expect?
This is all of us.
To be honest, this is far more than I expected.
I know this is like pretty decent compared to the normal numbers we go in with.
I know this is nice.
Well, dang.
It is a bit more than we expected also. You must understand, with the addition of your group, we are, well, nearly doubled in number now. This opens quite a few more doors. We'll have to go over our plans. Perhaps actually have a plan worth having at this point. But
What is our current plan?
our plan was originally for 4 of us to go, make a diversion, for Belle, Libya, and Jazeera to make their way through the sewer system we had located and into the tunnel, through the tunnels into the tower, and perhaps make their way through the tower until they located Liren.
I mean no offense by this, but are you in a position to fight? You seem rather exhausted yourself, and with the addition of our strength, will
I think
you be of aid, or
she holds up
you better hear
her
the call
hand, and her
shot?
hand is just kind of shaking at this point, and she looks at it. It's like, I think I perhaps might be better served coordinating our efforts from here.
I think that would do
Very much
best.
agree.
Considering
Kyron.
that I also do need you to return me to my world. I need you safe. We're being honest here.
I do understand. With any luck, we will all return to our own worlds. With Liren, if we can manage to stabilize the Sanctum long enough, the passage back should be much easier and much safer.
Well,
Now,
Just have to make sure we get her out. But you take care of yourself, and you're better. I think you're better served here, taking care of all of us in this position.
if we have the means to communicate, that may very well be the case. Kyron, you'd mentioned that we had some sort of sending stone, some means to keep in contact with each other. And Kyron, his long dark hair is tied back into a series of braids that hang against his back, and he's dressed in these dark green robes that looks like he can move very fluidly in. And he says, yes, I've managed to locate a couple. We can leave some with you. I'd planned for 2 groups, so 4 stones, 2 pairs. If you keep one of each set, then one can go with whoever's causing the diversion, and one can go with whoever's deciding to infiltrate the tower. Do we have any objections to this?
I think that would be acceptable.
I think that would work just fine.
Do we have? I know some of us here are talents and abilities. Do we have a decision made on who's going where?
Well, we'd been planning to split. As I said, Belle, Nibia, and Jazeera were planning to go through the sewer system into the tunnels, or through the tunnels of the sewer system into the tower. The rest of us, and Byron gestures at himself, Alma, Perrin, and Zay. We're planning to cause some sort of diversion, some sort of ruckus. We hadn't quite figured out exactly what we were going to do. With the addition of your group, we can split you in half, and half of y'all go with each group, or would you prefer to enter the tower yourselves?
I think at this particular point, taking our group through the tower would be our best bet of survival.
Maybe bring one of y'all along with us, because it was going to be, what, 3 in the tower and 4 outside? Or 2 in the tower?
Well, my question is, is the tower group attempting to get in and out unnoticed, or they're expecting resistance?
We don't have much idea of what's going on in the tower at all. Bell sort of pipes up at this point. We found the tower's location. We know it's based on an old structure, and we found the entrance to the sewers that we assume lead to the tower. There's nothing else in the area for it to be headed to or draining from, and the scent of the sewer does indicate some recent activity. So if we can get to the tower, we don't have much of an idea of what's going on inside. We know it's guarded. A number of fairly well-armored individuals do seem to be posted along the outside of it, and we assume there's some few of them inside also. Now, the reputation this tower has in the area, from what we've been able to gather, is that there's some sort of magician, a sorceress of some dark power that lives there. The locals don't seem to like her much, so we assume that may well be the either the leader of the cultists, or mayhap even the general that we were looking about.
Well, Dorn and myself are not the quietest, but you're well armored.
I think we can go ahead and expect resistance. And in that case, I'd rather have our fighters with us than split up anywhere.
Do you know what type of individuals are guarding this tower inside and out? Is this what's the general race on this world? And
From what we can see, the cities nearby are pretty well populated with a variety of folk. That seems fairly representative of the individuals guarding the tower as well. Some halfling, some dragonborn, a couple of half-orc, half-elf. Ain't seen much of the small folk yet. They may be inside.
Any
Or they...
tieflings?
Hmm?
You may noted any tieflings?
Don't recall any in particular. We've seen a couple in town, but not terrible many.
They're not a popular race, but
As far as we know, they could be holed up inside.
exactly.
I think we should just go ahead and plan on expecting heavy resistance inside.
Well, see, if we're doing our job outside and creating the diversion appropriate, and ideally we can get a fair number of what's inside to come to the outside.
There's this curious character on a world far, far away, I believe. There's a law named after him. I think his name's Murphy. It's like Murphy's Law. I think if something can go wrong, it will go wrong.
I think I've heard of this Murphy before.
Murphy. It's not Audie.
I hadn't heard it called by Murphy any more than I had any other name, but it does seem like
Audie
common
Murphy's
sense that.
little brother, Fred Murphy.
Heard of Fred Mercury.
So shame to you.
I know of Fred Mercury, a talented bard, but not this Fred Mercury.
Oh, I heard about him. I had an opportunity to go see one of his shows some 30 years back. Fortunately, I never did get to make it, but
I hear
bard of some quite high skill.
That's what I hear. Okay, Satora, I suppose you think you're better.
I don't know of whom you're talking.
I thought you were
This
an
Mercury
educated man.
folk was
He was not on my world.
some sort of royalty, perhaps.
It's almost like y'all were worlds away. It's almost like we're in a whole new world.
Oh, God, I was avoiding it. I was just about to go there. Well, in that case, perhaps maybe Doran and I will just
Come with
stay a
us.
few feet behind y'all while you.
I mean,
We'll have Halbert check the corners before we turn them.
I can keep one of y'all with me, and we can go super sneaky.
Do you not want to keep the beastie in there?
He can go very sneaky.
Well, I don't know. Do you want the beastie to be surprise beastie or hello? This is
I mean,
beastie?
you could be equally as surprising as a beastie.
Is he good at sneaky, like Val's good at sneaky, or good at sneaky?
He is good at sneaky when I can make him good at sneaky.
Well, do we want to have surprise?
Thanks,
dwarf?
Jordan.
Either one would be surprising.
Okay, do we want surprise beast or surprise dwarf?
I was thinking surprise dragonborn.
I don't do well in tight spaces.
It's not that tight comparatively, and I would really like the image of just dropping you 10 feet over somebody with all your armor on.
I kind of like the image of dropping a large dwarf, a dwarf-sized me, over somebody.
You like him?
Imagine if Doran were to giant smite, and then you drop him on somebody.
Oh,
I think it's about the same size, mate.
Well, it's fairly close.
just throwing this out here. We could keep the giant kitty hidden away, and we can keep the non-sneaky members of our group slightly covering our rear, and the ones that are a little bit more stealthy, and can be made increasingly more stealthy by our ranger friend here, can take the lead on this.
I say this is it.
Cool. I'm down.
So, if 11th Hour were to join the assault team, who else was on this one? You said Belle and Tabaxi. What was your name?
I'm Zay.
Zay.
I was set to be among those who make the diversion.
No, Zay was with the diversion?
Zay was with the diversion. Belle, Nubia, and Jazeera had been set to go inside to infiltrate.
Belle, Nubia. Jazeera?
Do I know, is Thorin there?
Hmm?
Is Belle's husband present?
Thorn is not. You do not see Thorn.
Where's your compatriot, your significant other? I'm not going to say your better half because I don't think that he might be the better half, but the other half.
Oh, you're very kind, but he's holding down the fort back on Lyria, keeping watch over the blade and bow and making sure that pathway still stays anchored. Those who can, those of us who are partnered, we each left one of our partners at the end point to anchor the world. There aren't many of us that are able to do so, just myself and Perrin over there. The other 5 here are runners that managed to make it through the purge.
Well,
And what did you say? I'm sorry. Remind me who Nubia was again.
Nubia and Jazeera are 2 gnomes that you had seen.
That's right.
You hadn't seen, but everybody else had seen hanging out with Gribble.
I would know them from prior to them.
speaking of Gribble, folks, how is Gribble? Do we know, has Gribble been lost at all?
Oh, we ain't seen him since he left our world. Jazeera sort of pipes up, well, we had a mission some time ago and took us away from the Sanctum before all this started. At that point, Gribble was still traveling with your group.
Mm-hmm.
Did you lose him?
No, I didn't lose him. He just lost us.
He was there, and then he wasn't. We weren't sure if he found his way back to you guys or not.
I'm sure he was on his grand quest of either serving his deity or converting goblins.
I'm sure it was one
Or
of those.
finding pork.
I think that coincides with all
He
of
did
them.
like that bacon.
So let's see. Bell, Jazeera,
What was the
Zai, Aaron.
name of the half with the cloak? It starts with an R. What's the spelling on his name? Okay.
Perrin, you mean?
Perrin. Yeah, no. There's an R in there. Perrin. How is that spelled?
Perrin.
Like Pippin, except with R's instead. And
And not.
And he's the half elf, right?
He is the half elf. He is the one who had gone and tried to help heal
Yep.
Rissa when she had
Okay.
started sort of collapsing. And you see at this point, Rissa is just leaning against the chair, not even really holding herself up, but just sort of taking in everything that's happening.
so I don't know. I've got Zai, Perrin, Bell, Jazeera, Kieran, Nubia, and Rissa, right? Those are the ones.
And there's
still with us?
Alma also. You missed
Alma.
Alma.
And Alma's on the diversion team?
Alma's on the diversion team.
And
You sort of
Kieran.
ask about this, and she holds up a large, like a long length of metal, almost like a metal pipe, and she waves it at you generally and says, "I got my boomstick here. It's nice and loud. It's gonna draw quite a bit of attention if I do it right."
perfect. And then
Make-
Kieran?
Kyron.
Right? Kyron.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought she said Kyra at first, and I was like, wait, what?
I would like to shoot Kyra.
I'm gonna shoot Kyron just because the name's too close.
Kyra? Where?
Slight
No.
PTSD. Alright.
So help me work through this real fast based off what you said, please.
Keep it
I've been
simple.
trying to
Mhm.
take the notes.
Yep.
The three people who were on entry team were Bell, was it Nubia and Jazeera?
Yep.
Bell and the gnome.
Okay.
So the short people. Because Bell's a halfling, right?
Belle is a halfling.
Short people and us. And then on the diversion, you got Zai, Perrin, Alma, and Kyron.
Kyron.
Good deal.
We'll get it right eventually.
Good deal. No, I was just trying
Kyron's
to.
gonna die before I get it right.
Everyone's gonna die.
Right.
All right. I think a diversion would be good, and then having the crew move in with the three moving through the tunnels, because I don't know what to expect in there. But if it is a prison, and if she is being held, I'm sure, knowing what little I do about Lyran, there'll be people guarding, and they're not going to let their prize go very easily. So even with the diversion, I would expect some resistance. And I would like to see some of my friends who can hit hard be in there with us. We'll go check corners and clear out and make sure we can see everything in front. But we'll have to move quickly.
Dawn and I will stay on standby. Few bits behind you all. You have the ability to make us all stealth a little bit better, yes?
Potentially, but I also figure I don't know if our friends might be able to do that as well. Gonna look over at them slightly.
If you want help
questioning.
moving a little quieter, this is a skill that, let me make sure I'm telling you the right one. Yeah, Jazeera could potentially help assist with.
Alright. How far is the tower from here?
About 2 hours out into the woods, a little bit.
Start heading that way then.
The entrance to the tunnel is a bit closer than that, about hour and a half. So if we're going to split, we're going to need to split by that point. Now, you said you're wanting Belle and Nabia and Jazeera to go with you, or are you just wanting one to help keep you quiet? What exactly you wanting?
Whichever, I mean, I imagine, Marissa, you're running the lead on this mission. Wherever you think the assignment of individuals is best suited.
Do you think it would
Well-
be beneficial to have at least one person with us?
I agree. I think if Jazeera is able to go with you to help ease your way and guide your steps, that can only be good. Belle, you have some some practice in combat, though a bit. It's been quite a while, I know, but would you be willing to come with the diversion, maybe help to guide their steps and ease their way? Maybe also, if you're willing to work your magic. I know you're quite familiar with the woods. They both sort of look at her and nod, and Jazira's like, well, certainly, although you'll forgive me. You are a bit tall and might struggle a little bit through the tunnels. You're sure this is what you want to do?
Well, I believe I can make it through to help aid on the inside. We can make it work.
Well, I agree that if you're in there, it'll be good to have you in a tight pinch if we are stuck in any combat there. Well, let's do this.
All right. Got a long walk ahead of us.
Who is going to have the receiver? I believe in this situation, myself and either Val or Casator would probably be best up front, checking and taking point. And I don't
Sending
want-
stones?
Yes.
I believe you having one would be quite beneficial.
I don't know if I'm on point, if that would be the most beneficial.
I think it would be because you need to encounter something, you need to communicate something. Perhaps you up front and then one of us towards the rear.
Casator or Val, how quiet can y'all move?
I can move fairly quietly, and I'm wondering if potentially if Val might be the ideal candidate to keep the sending stone, as he could, if necessary, if we are in a position where speaking is all right, then he could speak, but if he needed to send a message silently, he could do that.
Oh, that's actually a good point. I forgot I can do that.
We're screwed. We're just straight up
I
screwed.
agree.
No,
that is
when we go into
good.
combat and Jay starts forgetting what he can do, he dies.
Yeah.
And don't cast light.
Now, the question is, will your telepathy work with sending stone, or do you have to speak audibly for that?
I don't mean to use the stone to communicate with the other group, but I mean to relay the message of the sending stone to our group.
Oh, well, in that case, then yes.
Yeah, would make sense.
Good.
Yeah, and then
So-
we'll have
Just each group, for clarification, Lauren, is
Yes.
each group getting 2 stones, or is each group getting 1 stone?
Each group is getting one so that they can each talk back to Rissa,
Okay.
and Rissa can sort of keep an eye on what's going
Play the
on and let you all
operator.
know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
essentially.
it. All right. I heard 4, and then I heard pairs, and I wasn't sure how that was combining. Got it.
A set of sending stone is 2 stones. So those 2
Right.
stones can basically be used to send messages back and forth.
I wasn't sure if there are 4 stones or 4 pairs.
There are 4 stones, 2 pairs.
So then, yes, I do believe Val may be the best suited to have
Yep.
the insertion team's stone.
yeah.
All right.
You got the stones, mate.
In which case,
You have
I
a
would
stone,
go up front with
singular stone.
Actually, I also have the Orb of Spell Story, so I've got a pair.
That's an orb, not a stone.
All these.
Hey, you don't know what it's made of.
I
All this-
actually do. I had it before you did.
What?
call the sending stone. Oh, you mean the other one? Never mind.
Casator, might I ask? Don't use the crossbow, please.
Perhaps I could use the other crossbow, the poisoning crossbow.
I think that might be possible for sure. I'll hold on to the darts if you're all the same, but
That's fine.
Goring still has his
I want to save those anyways.
I've got the darts. You gave them to me.
Okay. You got the Goring's gassy missile.
No, he's got that. Because you got the crossbow darts with the irritant, and then you got his.
No, that's what those are. Okay, the Goring's gassy missile is the
air
Because it's always been like 3 different things.
No, there's 2.
No, there's
there's
Okay, good.
the Q3000,
Good. You got the Q3000.
and then there's Goring's gassy missiles. There's 4 of them. Or what do you call them? The
The stink bomb.
stink.
Good deal. Yes, I've got the. I thought I had the missiles. Anyways, well, at least I had it written down that I'll
You might
have
have
them.
it.
Mhm.
So
you're giving case for the poison wood.
yes, he's got it for right now. Yeah,
Okay.
let's start moving that way, and we'll do so as quietly as possible.
All right, so y'all head out of the inn, and you're in a fairly small town. The streets aren't paved, they're basically packed dirt. There are a handful of other buildings and shops that line this sort of way, but it's fairly quiet. Most of the people are out and working their own tasks for the day as you head out of town into this grassy region that is very quickly overcome into this forest. And as you're going, there's a very sort of tense, anticipatory silence that is overcoming the group. All 14 of y'all.
We're in the forest, though. I'm happy.
Did I count that right? 13 of y'all. Go ahead and make me a stealth roll, adding 10 as Jazeera. Hold on, let me make sure that. Oh,
Good day. It's a real good day.
yeah. Jazeera casts her spell.
I love that spell.
So Dorn got 1.
No.
Which would make it a 12 with the plus 10.
That's a 12. Okay.
I have a 14 with the plus 10.
So like 14, so you roll a 4?
I rolled a 3 plus 1.
Ooh.
And though what really sucks is the disadvantage. I rolled a 16 and Dorn rolled an 18. But the
Disadvantage is brutal.
It's okay. It's as y'all are going through, Alma also stumbles a little bit and bumps into Doran, and their armor clings off of each other a little bit. Everybody else is staying fairly quiet though. The rest of y'all, the NPCs have been doing all right. As they're going through, Nubia and Jazeera are helping to show people where to step, how to move so that they're not breaking branches, holding boughs out of the path. How did y'all do?
well, you know how Dorn and myself.
I've got the two of y'all. Okay, Sator.
33.
Whoo, very nice.
32.
Albert.
36.
Very nice.
This seems
We're
fitting.
stealth.
We would be stealthy if not for the heavy armor.
Should have taken that off while we were walking.
It takes like 10 minutes to take off.
We were talking the entire time.
We're talking, he just starts stripping.
Oh, that's not muscle.
As y'all are
You
walking
get that
through,
checked out.
there's a brief message that comes over the sending stones. Rissa is just checking in, making good progress. You should be almost halfway to the entrance to the tunnels. Do let me know when you've arrived at that point, please.
Oh my god, we're not.
Over.
So terrible. We're all dying up here. No, too soon? Okay. Too soon.
You're awful. But you were quiet enough that
because
she didn't hear you because you weren't holding the sending stone.
Tense situations.
Right.
You mean you can't
So-
hear him throughout the woods already? Or is that how she knew exactly where we were?
She knows that it takes about an hour and a half to get to the entrance to the tunnels. About 45 minutes have passed at this point.
In an ambush.
So as y'all are going through, you're pushing through the rest of the time that you're traveling through here. The forest is growing denser. The path is
Yay.
growing less traveled.
That's a good one.
Halberd at this point is taking your expertise in addition to Jazeera's to sort of help show people where to guide their steps to avoid any of the major pitfalls. You're showing people how to move more easily, to sort of sidestep, and how to place their feet and what to look for as they're walking. You did actually manage to save Doran from stepping on a snake. That would have been pretty unpleasant.
He's
Snakes.
resistant to the poison.
Snaky snake.
And
Not too
as you are approaching
Oh, fine.
the time, about an hour and a half has passed since you set out. You know, you're about to get to where the tunnels are. The gnomes, Jazeera and Nubia, pause the group for a moment and embrace. They hug each other, and Jazeera passes through the rest of the group, goes to Belle first and has a very brief whispered, "Take care of yourself. Watch out for these guys. Run when you need to. You know what to do." Belle sort of nods and embraces her back, and Jazeera just goes around and basically gives a brief goodbye to the rest of the group, and then she turns and she faces you, and, "Well then, are you ready?"
Can I roll an
Ready as
insight
I'll
check
ever
on
be.
that run? If you need to, you know what to do.
What are you trying to figure out? You can roll insight, but what are you looking for in particular?
Like if there's any like shifting eyes looking at us, like if you need to ditch them, or like if it was more meant just like you're here to save Liren, but not at the cost of your own life, kind of thing.
It's okay to
Yeah, go
leave
ahead and
them
roll
to
insight.
die.
Blackthorn.
Ooh, that's
Hollow
not
Kraken.
good. That's all right. 8.
8. They
Solid.
were a little ways away and, you know, sort of obscured with their bodies and their embrace. You're not, you assume at this point there's a friendship and a camaraderie between them, and they're both concerned for the safety of each other. You don't notice anything particularly shifty, nothing particularly suspicious. Jazeera is ready to start leading you off the track and splitting from the group. 30 minutes, we should get there. We'll let Liren know and we'll let Rissa know. I'm going to be messing that up all session.
They're the same person. This is a suicide mission because we've already got her.
They're all changelings.
And wasn't Rissa also Owen?
No, Liren is, yes, Rissa is
Rissa's
Owen,
Owen, but Liren's Rissa, so Liren is Owen.
and they all have.
Rissa wasn't Liren. I mean, Rissa wasn't Owen. Rissa is Tiamat.
No.
No,
Who-
and Owen
Owen.
is Tiamat.
Owen is Tiamat, but Rissa is Owen.
They're all changed.
No, sorry,
Is it
not
one
Owen.
changeling, or
Owen
is
is
it
not.
multiple changelings?
Owen is not Tiamat. Owen is what's his name?
Reuben.
Yes, Reuben.
Owen is Reuben. Yeah, none of them are Tiamat. Owen's Reuben. Who's
Because-
also
How did you guys figure out my plan?
Don't worry
I
about it.
I was being
We
so
just sit around and talk about this stuff.
sneaky. I mean, obviously, I know in hindsight, Owen's definitely Tiamat, but
No.
Right.
They're not Tiamat. Reuben.
oh, definitely. Because Raven is obviously Tiamat.
No, we don't think Reuben
No.
is Tiamat.
Tiamat. Come on. Get
We
it
just
right.
can't kill Tiamat.
It's
but I
Oh,
not
think
that
you'll
sorry,
also
I'm
kill Tiamat.
behind the times. Right. All right. So
Come on,
anyway,
moving
Jazeera
on.
leads you
Keep
off
Keep
the
up with
path.
your own story, will you?
Jazeera leads you off the path and through the woods a little ways away. And within the next 10 minutes or so, there's this rocky outcropping, and you can see in the distance, peeking through the trees, which are starting to thin just a little bit. And Halberd, you notice in particular that the trees coming through here are stunted in their growth, that there's an odd,
That's all.
unhealthy cast to the leaves. And make a perception check for me real quick. Make it at advantage.
What?
That's
Make it add
exactly what I was
advantage.
thinking.
Oh my goodness gracious! That's so happy. I'll take that. That's going to be a 26.
Oh, definitely. You get a very faint, acrid smell that is being carried on the wind.
Acrid, like not arachnid, I guess.
Not arachnid, no.
Spidey senses activated.
Almost between sour and bitter. It's this strong, almost acidic sort of smell.
Go right kiwi.
Yes, like a rotting kiwi. That same sort of sickly, sour, bitter smell. And you just catch it very briefly as you are getting, because you're so familiar with what a healthy forest is and what it's supposed to look like. And this just strikes you as wrong. It's overwhelmed very quickly by a different scent, a much stronger scent, as Jazeera leads the group around this sort of rocky outcropping and into a small cave-like tunnel entrance.
How well am I going to fit in this entrance?
It'll be a squeeze. You'll be moving a little slowly, but from what you can see, you'll be able to make it through.
That's all that matters.
Jazeera sort of eyeballs you up and down, measures the entrance, looks at you skeptically, but doesn't say anything. So you go ahead and she leads you into the tunnel, and you are getting
I'm going to
an
go
odor
behind
now.
Val.
I'd like to take point on that. I don't want her to lead me into the tunnel.
Okay.
I follow after Val to keep it moving.
Case at all? You got my back?
Always.
So
We
Halberd,
actually cast
Casator,
light.
where's Doran in the lineup?
He's in the...
Back.
Yeah. He's in the very
Alright.
back.
And is it like pitch black in here?
Not yet. There's light that you can see from the outside is coming in behind you, but you don't see any lights further ahead.
Okay. Can I?
Especially once you start getting in and blocking more of the light from behind you with your form squeezing through.
Can I, like, cast light but diminish it a little bit? So instead of like the full 30 foot, can I just do like 15?
I've got the hooded lantern.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, that works.
Hooded lantern.
Yeah.
Be careful with that, mate.
That'll work well.
Tide.
Stealth and surprise are kind of
A little bit of dim light.
eradicated. with
Those
the
of us
light.
without dark vision.
Halberd, you're very familiar with hooded lanterns and their ability to sort of shield and direct lights.
Mhm.
Those of a more sneaky, roguish, thief-like persuasion are very familiar with how they work.
Me? Cool.
Could be.
I like it.
So with the dim light being cast by the hooded lantern, where do y'all want Jazeera in this lineup?
Behind Case at all.
So
Okay.
it's gonna go Hal, Casator,
Mm-hmm.
Zira,
Mm-hmm.
Val,
Celiac Doran?
Sully, Doran.
Okay. That'll work. That will work.
Val's in the
Okay.
middle with the light shining forward. A little bit of dim light.
Should we potentially
Alright.
the hooded lantern entirely hooded with your hand on the person in front of you or something, but have the light inside the lantern ready to go so Val could
It's
open
a
it
magical light.
at a moment's notice?
I think it might be more for his
Val and myself
mental
don't have dark
acuteness.
vision, so we can't see.
How the heck do you not anyway?
I know. You would think with my dragon heritage I should be able to see in the dark, but I can't.
I would
So as y'all get
write a
going,
letter to my
Jazeera.
ancestors and complain about the genes they gave me.
I do.
All right, come on,
For the
guys.
Wranglers next time.
As y'all are getting yourselves lined up and preparing to go, Jazeera pauses you and who's got the stone again? We should let Rissa know so that she can coordinate with the other group.
Val.
This is Val. We're in the store. Over.
Do you have a message? Have you reached the tunnels yet?
Yes, we're in the sewer. Over.
Val,
I will
what
let the other
happened to
group
your
know.
voice?
I was like, wait, I used it. Did I use it wrong?
All right. Jazeera nods and gestures for you all to continue. And as you go, I do want Val to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, +4 to this.
Nice. That's going to be helpful.
I don't like that.
15.
15. All right. Val, as you start going into the tunnel, you feel the darkness closing in around you. You feel the weight of the tunnel pressing down on you. You try to start getting yourself under control, but your heart starts beating faster and faster. Your breath starts coming quicker and quicker. You catch the smell of some fecal matter, some slime, some muck. It is gross. It is dark. It is dank. You're starting to feel more of the humidity. And as you travel over the next 5 to 10 minutes, you are not in the midst of a panic attack, but you are a breath away from it.
Yeah, what you guys can't hear is outside the wind is blowing so hard that is adding a very creepy vibe to that description. All right, I'm going to grab my little holy symbol. It's wrapped around my wrist.
Which one?
I've only got the Saintly one around my wrist.
Praise the good Lord.
The Traveler one is on the sword.
Aye.
Thank God.
So I've got the symbol in one hand, the lantern in the other. Just one foot in front of the other.
Sally's just like
Yep.
squeezing your ribs to make
Okay.
sure you're still breathing.
It'll be okay, my friend.
All right, you make your way, and about 15 minutes later, you know you're 5-10 minutes away tops from the tower. The smell is getting very strong down here, and the tunnel, the path, opens up into an underground cavern. And there's a little bit of light peeking through from where there's been a sinkhole, a little bit of a collapse. There's an opening ahead in the roof of the tunnel, and you can see there's a dark form off to the right, sort of making a den, having located this underground refuge, and it appears to be sleeping at this point. I want everyone to go ahead and roll stealth.
Is Jazeera casting Pass Without Trace? Do I feel super stealthy?
Pass Without Trace is still in effect, or is in effect again. Yes.
Dang it.
Every time, super good. And that's a 20 for Soliex and a 16 for Dorn with the +10.
Nice.
Nice. Val?
33.
33. Nice. Kazator?
29.
Halberd?
34.
Woo. All right.
Told you I'm good at this stealth thing.
With help. Same with me.
No,
It's okay.
Jazeera spots this form. Has everybody calls your attention to it, motions with your eyes, and it is a large body. You can't tell. There's a weird glisten to it from where you're at here. You can't tell if it's some sort of scale or slime, but some
Divine sense.
Divine sense.
Undead, celestial, or fiend.
It is not undead. It is not celestial. It is not fiend.
Okay. Also, that will tell me if this ground has been affected by the hollow spell as well.
What is the radius? How
60,
far
60
away does that
feet,
sense?
but they can't, not behind the whole total cover. So I pretty much have to be able to see them within 60 feet.
So no, you don't. Your divine senses isn't pinging out anything. And no, this ground has not been hollowed or cursed
Okay, cool.
at this point.
How far away is this body thing?
From where it's at now, about 35 or 40 feet. You came in on one side of this cavern, and it's sort of on the other side. You can see direct ahead where the tunnel continues.
I'm gonna kind of and then I'll telepathic contact Howard. Can you see what it is?
That's a great question. Can I see what it is?
'Cause I don't have dark vision.
Make a perception check.
My eyes glow, but I don't have dark vision.
23.
23. Yes, you do get a sense for what it is. As you approach, you see a scaled creature, and you can see that it is curled up. It is from the dim light. It's hard to make out the coloring, but it's a long body, snake-like almost, but with various appendages, various legs sticking off its body at certain points. You can see that it is a what would be a very, very large creature. The snout, you can see as it breathes, is actually with every exhale spewing little sparks of static electricity. And in the light of these sparks, you can see the pale blue skin, these scales stretching along its body.
How many legs does it have?
Hmm?
How many legs does it have?
Does Celiax have dark vision to see?
No.
Does Halberd
No.
take note?
Halberd doesn't necessarily take note of the number of legs because it's curled up and all coiled around itself, but Halberd is relatively familiar with a Bahir. He has fought one or two of these before many years ago. Many years ago, as when he was on border patrol with his people. They are huge creatures with they're not very subtle once they're awake and once they're moving. This one you seem to have caught sleeping in its den. You get the sense that you could try and sneak past it, or you can maybe try to sneak up on it and kill it. But if you know that its attacks are not quiet, it's not subtle. What do y'all want to do?
I'm
going to relay it to Val.
because we get the brain thing going, and I'm going to cast silence.
Okay.
What's the radius?
Do what?
What's the radius on silence?
60 foot.
No, that's its range. It's a 20-foot radius, but it's a 120-foot range.
Okay.
So I'm going to cast.
So
I'm
where
going to
it's curled
center
up.
it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, where it's curled up, you can get it all inside that range.
Yeah, I'm going to center it right on the creature. Pray to all the deities that
We could take it.
it doesn't work. Wake up.
All right, y'all have a choice. You can sneak up on it and try to attack it. You could sneak past it. You could turn around and go back. What are y'all
I
doing?
remember who's afraid of the dark, and I'm guessing he's also afraid of giant beasties, so we'll bypass
We're
it.
also in a direct line, and it is an electrical-based creature. Like blue dragon, it breathes in a line. And we're lined up ready for it. So let's get
We'll kind of serpentine around the side
This
of it,
is true, but Celiax has only just barely seen it and does not know about his breath attacks.
but I would.
Halberd would, if you choose to share that information. It's getting to the point where Val, you get another message over the sending stone. Riss is letting you know that the other team is in position, waiting for your go-ahead.
All right. We encountered a creature with sneaking past it. We'll contact you shortly. and we start sneaking past.
All right, you go ahead and you sneak past. With the silence, it cannot hear you. Let's go ahead and have y'all do one more stealth check just to make sure nothing gets dropped, no pebbles get kicked, nothing happens
Out
to
of
perhaps
curiosity,
wake it
since
up.
this is not auditory, are Dorn and I still at disadvantage? Since the loud armor doesn't matter.
The loud armor doesn't matter, but the difficulty moving still does. So yes.
Okay.
But this is still pass without trace, so do add 10.
That was not as good. Dorn, figure it out. 30.
25 for Solyex
Okay.
Nice.
and 17 for Dorn.
Dang,
Very
sketchy.
nice. Halberd,
The opposite was an 18.
34.
Val,
34.
nice.
Now,
His
just a note, I had to roll a natural 20 to get that freaking 34.
Natural 1 for 17.
For 17.
So you and Dorn
All right.
tied. He got a 6.
You make your way through the chamber, and there's a brief stumble from Kazator about halfway through. Everybody freezes. Your eyes dart over to where the monster is curled up. Still sleeping. Does not seem to have been disturbed. You manage to make your way through the rest of the chamber. Its passive perception was 16. Y'all made it by that much. Bravo, guys. So you make your way through, and within the next couple of minutes, you find yourselves at a sort of dead end of a tunnel. You look overhead, and there's a strong odor that is filling this particular tunnel. And you can see there's a column of rock that is hollow as it ascends, and you can hear quietly speaking to each other voices from up above. There is a small hole that seems to have been chipped out and carved out of the rock overhead.
Mm-hmm.
There does not seem to be any further passageway through this tunnel. This is where it dead ends. You get the sense that this is the sewer entrance. You just have to figure out how to get yourselves up and through the hole at the top.
How high up is it?
About 15 feet.
Albert, ready? You? I will grab Howard and just like lift him up so he can try to get closer to get a better perception visual of possible what's going on.
That would help, but I have no strength.
We'll just use Doran as the first step and then me as the second step, and we'll give him a little bit of ladder boost so we can get a better visual.
Who wants in you or who wants in me? This is the brain thingy.
So we'll give Halberd just a little bit close to, so we can at least hear what is going on. Not so we stick his head out, but at least so he can get his ear closer to try to figure out where.
Yeah, that's definitely doable. Solix, go ahead and make me an athletics check. As you're getting ready to go and as you're getting him lifted up, Jazeera is like, "Oh, Lord, we're here at the dead end. Do we want to go ahead and let the other group know, make a diversion? Maybe they can clear out some of the room overhead?"
Knowledge is power. Hold on a moment.
Yeah, that was a 20 for athletics.
Awesome. Yeah, you managed to lift him up and to stabilize him. Not a problem. Halberd, make me a perception check.
21.
So what?
21.
Fabulous. All right. So you hear overhead a number of voices, and most of them seem to be just chit-chatting, talking. There's a little bit of complaining of oh, why are we on such a high alert? Nothing's been happening. This is so boring. Why are we here? Oh, that lady, isn't she creepy? This is one of the worst postings. Yeah, but it pays decently and we can, manage to get some good money through this. It's not going to be that much longer. And then we'll be back at our normal posting. This is like, yeah, and that weird doorway, and how's that going to work? And oh, did you see that thing they brought? Apparently is really valuable. And oh yeah, but they bring a bunch of valuable stuff. There's person's like a collector of some kind. Yeah, but she never lets anything go. She just keeps it all. This is going to be like, why are we doing this? And just as you're going and they're just shooting the shit essentially.
Especially considering where we're at, that was good.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
If someone sits down, I won't. Never mind.
You're lucky. The bathroom that this seems to be leading into, off of some sort of lobby or barracks or some gathering area, is not currently occupied, although you can see where there are stains of various ages
Okay, I can
against
bring
the
a whole
walls.
new
And just,
meaning to flaming poops.
you're not wrong.
I feel like that'd be critical damage, don't you?
All right.
So are they in the room if we were to lift you up?
I don't think so.
Do you want to get a little higher so you can sort of speak a little? So
I
we
think
get you up, you have your lower rope down. We can get more out.
it might be worth starting a distraction right now.
That could be good.
I think.
We are in position.
Send it.
Send it, bud.
You may start the distraction.
You may fire when ready.
Focus right on that. And a couple of moments pass. And it is quiet. You still hear the conversation up above. And then echoing, almost vibrating the rock, you can feel this loud boom.
You're still maintaining that silence.
And a second or two, it happens again. Boom! This massive, massive explosion. You can feel the rock shaking around you. Halberd just a couple of feet overhead. You feel, or you can hear and see this wooden covering for the toilet is rattling around. You hear the alarm of a number of the guards from inside, very quickly gathering their arms and armor, preparing to go out and defend whatever this is, repel this awful attack. You hear stomping of boots, you hear clanging and getting ready and people yelling orders, and there's confusion of what's happening, what did you see? No, there's 2 of them out there, can't you see? Look at them. No, there's 7 of them, look, no, just 4. And no, look, there's like 12 of them, can't you see? And so there's confusion and there's chaos that's happening. And over the course of the next 3 to 5 minutes, it dies down. You can hear maybe a slight rustle, but you've heard the vast majority of the people, of the guards, have vacated the room. You don't think you're going to get much of a better opportunity.
Let's go Halberd,
During all that
Val, and Casator, and then y'all lower rope down to get some of those heavier people up.
During all that chaos, I summoned JoJo out.
Okay. Very nice.
We'll vault Halberd up so we can get up and out.
Okay. Halberd, go ahead and just make me an acrobatics check. Or athletics, either one.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Mm-hmm.
10.
Depending on how you're getting up and out.
Did he get advantage because I'm helping him?
You helping him gets him the height to actually make the attempt.
That was bad. That was a 10.
10's not bad. 10's enough to get up there. You do find one point where you do have to brace a hand against one of the walls, and once you get up and get stable, you look at your hand, it's like, oh, that's gross. But you get up, you get on out.
All right. Val, you're next.
Oh, this is gonna end up well.
I'm gonna reach my hand down to help him up.
Your poopy hand. I can't take that.
You wear gloves, don't you? And then alley-oop. Cheerleader pose.
Cheerleader pose. For the interest of brevity, we'll say everybody goes ahead and manages to get up. Slowly expose stuff who he can. Y'all lower the rope, get everybody else up. Jojo Quesator is like, it stinks in here. This smells so bad. You couldn't have waited 3 more minutes until he got upstairs.
Didn't think about that. I apologize. I know your sense of smell is quite keen. I'm sure this is awful.
It's awful for your nose. You can only imagine how much more intense it is for his. But he complains. But he still does what he needs to. He goes ahead and flies on up, gets upstairs. Once he's upstairs, he finds a little corner out of the way and sits down and just starts grooming himself, getting himself
You're
all
licking
cleaned up.
yourself.
Did I say Val? I'm sorry, I meant Jojo.
I would have said
But
it like
the
Don't put that in your
too
mouth.
many characters. All right. At
one
this
who's
point,
immune to
y'all can
disease.
go ahead and unroll the map, the yellow one, number 1,
oh,
to get a
goodness.
sense. Y'all are here. Real quick, because y'all are emerging into a bathroom, and it is small and it is cramped. It is a very tight corner. Halberd, because you were the first one up, you can see there is a sort of a barracks area where there are a number of beds and some of the guards have personal belongings that are laid out in the next room. It is empty, but around the corner you can still hear a guard who is in the next room over, who is still preparing. You get the sense that either he's really slow and running late, or he was distracted with something else when the call came in, or maybe this is his posting where he is supposed to stay and help guard that area.
Half a second.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah. Can't see.
Can you zoom in?
Come on. We can fix that though. Watch that trick. Yeah, this is trick.
Yeah, keep going over.
What?
I don't know. We
Damn.
may. Sure.
You might need to zoom in on your camera
Can we see it?
slightly.
Yeah, no, you can see it. I can see it on mine.
How can you see that, Lauren?
Barely, but that's okay. I built it. I know it's there. I'm more concerned about Jordan. Can y'all see it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good enough.
Yeah, no, that.
So you see that top left, I'm pointing at my phone, that does absolutely nothing. But the top left, that little corner there, no, keep going around there. That's the bath, up, there.
Is there some that too
That's
light?
the bathroom that
Have a
y'all came
Sharpie
into.
and darken them if we need to.
Okay, hold of thought. This is where we're at.
Yep.
Right there.
The next room that opens to there, that is empty. That's got all of the beds in it. That's got some of their belongings. You can see as you come out and to the right, there's an entryway into a spiral staircase going up. The guard you hear is on the other side of the room, all the way. Yeah, Sharpie.
At least gives us a.
It's a magic trick.
It is. It's appearing as if out of nowhere. And that's my bad. Next time I make the maps, I'll make them darker.
No, good.
Here's the poop hole.
So as y'all know that the guard is almost directly opposite the spiral staircase from y'all in that room. You're not quite sure what's there. but you know that's where you hear the voice and the activity from.
To clear up some space, I'm going to quietly move out of the room and see if I can get around a corner where I can't be seen. I'm trying to figure out. So is the guard coming from over there?
Over there.
Okay.
You're not sure. You haven't seen what's in there, but that's where you're hearing it from.
Gotcha. Well.
And actually, go ahead and make me one more. What's your passive perception?
19.
19. So you would hear him actually complaining at this point about missing all the action, being left inside, having to guard the weapons.
Buddy, you have no idea the action that's coming to you.
All right, so everybody's up. What are y'all choosing to do?
I'm going to start moving. I'm going to motion that there's one person around the corner in the armory. And I think it might be beneficial to go take care of that.
Okay, this is where you stealthy people will take the.
I'm going to motion for Val and Pace the Tour to follow me.
Okay. Jazeera motions for you to be careful, but does still communicate that y'all are still under pass without trace. So as you go around the corner, hiding from this guard, have I had y'all make a stealth check since coming up?
Nope.
Okay, do that. We'll see how keen his senses are.
So we are going to the bedside opposite him, or we're going into his room?
So y'all are going around. Real quick, with the Sharpie, put a north, south, east, west on there for me.
That was. This is actually more difficult than I expected.
Okay, fabulous.
When you're left-handed.
I can do it.
So y'all are going, y'all are
Okay.
coming east out of the bathroom and clockwise around to where, like through that little area that's empty around the beds and through to where you hear him on the other side. Stealth checks.
32.
32. Kazator.
30.
Halberd.
I rolled a 4, so I got a 24.
You.
Okay. Silyax.
15.
15. And Doran.
Oh, that's a 1. So 12.
But y'all still have pass without trace.
Yeah, so
Is
it's a
that still-
12.
Okay.
I'm
So as-
using this forge as a little halfling gnomish dagger
Perfect.
wielding.
Just perfect.
I'm sorry, I meant to, before we came up into the tower, I was going to cast flame arrows on my quiver, because that lasts for
Okay.
me. If I can do that.
Yep, go for it.
Thanks.
Go ahead and
Use
mark
that
that off.
spell.
Huh?
Use that spell.
I do.
So as y'all are coming around, Doran trips over one of the items left up on one of the guards on the floor by the end of the bunk there. So it doesn't make much noise, but it's a brief clatter, and you hear from around the corner, "What was that?"
Nothing. I just can't seem to get my stuff together as I'm slowly walking towards the door.
Well, hurry up. I thought everybody was out there already. What's taking you so long?
I need some help. I'm stuck. Can you come help me? Don't tell anyone about this right now, please.
You're stuck. What on earth are you stuck with? And you
Don't
hear
ask
armor
stupid
clinking,
questions.
coming towards you.
I'm readying my
What's going on? What are you doing?
I don't
And
know.
as he comes around the corner, he sees y'all. He's like,
Can I fire as soon as I see him?
what? Let's have everybody roll initiative first.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll initiative.
Is he about right there, Lauren?
Yeah, right in the doorway there.
We're so bad.
I miss our battle music, Lauren.
I know, me too.
Oh, that's a nat 20 for fun.
Nice. I can put some on over on this end, but I don't know if y'all hear it. Shall I try it anyway?
I can make my own.
Go for it.
We'll make do.
Bum, 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 bum.
All right.
Go. No.
Da-da-da.
Thank you.
I love that
royalty
sing.
free, whatever. That one. What's the name of that one song that always was like by Kevin McLeod?
Anyway, rolling initiative.
Rolling initiative. 25 to 20.
21 for Sully.
22 for
21
Val.
Celiacs.
I got a nat 20.
22 for Val.
Yes. I got an 18.
There you go first.
Why is the cleric going first?
Because you rolled too dadgum high and I wanted to go first.
I knew he did.
Mm.
I was kind of hoping he would.
Okay. So it goes Val, Sully.
All right. 20 to 15.
18.
18. Halberd. 15 to 10.
14.
14 Kazator.
And then 13 for Doran.
Not bad.
13 for Doran. All right. Top of the order. Val, what would you like to do?
Val is going to run over to him.
Where's Jazeera in the order? So I can write her down.
Jazeera is at a 9.
Oh dear.
That's 20.
Lauren, are you the one playing the music?
I am.
Okay, it's gonna come in strong when you're not talking, and then when you start talking, your voice is gonna cancel out the music.
We will just turn it off then. Oh, we'll find something that we can use.
Okay, so use 20 feet of movement to get there.
All right, I'm going to.
I'm waiting.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something. Sorry. I'm going to grab the front of his shirt, put my hand on his face, and cast inflict wounds.
Ooh,
Right to the
All right.
face.
that's a roll to hit, right?
came around the corner.
You also have a sword that you can.
Yes, but I want to save that for
Not.
other
Don't
things.
encourage the traveler, yo.
No, I have my scimitar.
Okay, good.
I figured you saved the spells.
Right. Inflict wounds is roll to hit, right?
Yes,
Yeah, he's searching in his bag for something.
All right.
for the 3. That is a 13 plus 8.
Oh, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh. 9 plus 6 plus 7.
22.
23.
22.
Okay.
9 plus 6,
22.
15 plus
Yeah,
7,
yeah.
22.
Yeah.
All right.
So that
You
is
reach out,
20.
you touch him, the magic from your touch sinks into him, and you can see where you touch him, you pull your hand away, and he screams because his skin just starts sloughing off, revealing a gaping, like oozing pussy, nasty wound.
Okay, so he's basically what I'm envisioning is like this. So he is kind of screaming into my hand, right?
Sure, we can say that.
Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I just cast inflict wounds, and basically my hand goes for him because I've got him by the front of the shirt.
Okay. This is where if y'all want to grapple people, you should use your action to grapple rather than cast the spells. I will let it happen.
Okay.
We'll see what happens if it gets around to his turn.
Yeah.
Halberd, you're up.
No, I'm not.
I'm not up yet.
I got a 21.
Oh, excuse me, Silyax.
Okay, so I will go 5. One time I could use my belt that I never use. I won't. So I will cast Sacred Flame because I can't get him. So he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
That is an 11.
Ooh, that actually fails. So I believe that's 2 to 8. That's 3 points of radiant damage.
Okay. You see the glow of your holy fire surround him, and you can see it sinks in, and there is almost like a really bad sunburn that starts blistering and splitting over his skin. Now Halberd is up. Halberd, what are you doing?
He's not taking a turn in combat yet.
He has not taken a turn in combat yet.
And he's engaged with another person.
He's engaged with another person.
I've got my short swords. I'm going to attack him.
Go ahead and attack.
17 plus 8.
Oh, that hits.
Cool. It's going to be 8 plus 4, 12.
12? How did you want to kill him? This one's dead. This one's yours. How do you want to do it?
I'm just going to take the head off, I guess, while Val's holding his face.
Right.
Val is, in essence, holding up the body and the head.
Essentially, Val, you had your hand out over his face, and you saw this flare of light. You heard as Halberd's sword passed through, cleaving head from neck. You were reaching out to grab and hold the body so you could keep him pinned and keep him quiet. That is not even necessary. The body sags against you. You're not strong enough to hold it up by yourself. You're just left holding your fingers digging into the jaw and the musculature of this head, just holding it out in front of you at this point.
I was hoping to ask the fella where the prison was, but
We still can.
We could still do that.
I mean, I have this head. That's all I really need.
that's fair enough.
Others on this floor.
Looking around, are we still in combat? Where's combat
You do
over?
not see anybody else at this point. You do see a number of there are racks of weapons. There is a mat on the floor. There are training dummies. You get the sense that this is an armory and a training area for the guards that are stationed here.
I would like to loot his body.
All right, roll an investigation check.
While he's doing that, I'm going to carry the head into the room.
12.
12. Awesome. You find about 31 pieces of gold.
Ugh.
You find a set of leather armor. You find the knife, which is a fairly long tapered stiletto, and a short sword that he had on his person. And in a pouch there next to the sort of a small pocket next to where you found the gold, there is a folded, well-worn piece of paper, kind of scrummy and folded up as though his hands had been all over it.
We'll open it up and look at it.
All right, go ahead and pull out the K1 piece of paper.
So while he's doing this, can I go to that other doorway and make sure there's not someone about to walk in on us?
Sure, go ahead to the other doorway. Around the corner, you look out.
Thank you, sir.
You see a small, short table to your right. You see a taller, more decorative, like front foyer entrance table. You see mosaic tiles on the floor. You see on either side of the door there are two little statues of figures that are posed. Their eyes are these shards of ruby. Their mouths are like on either side, and you see this wide double door that's mostly closed but still slightly open to the outside. And through that door you can see there are a number of guards and there's activity on the outside, but it all looks to be headed away from the tower itself. Just around the corner you can see the edge of a tall mirror directly facing the entryway, the entrance.
Trust any of it.
This is a stairwell, right? That will lead up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the note.
You go. There you go.
I don't know what it means, but this is what we have. He had this on his person. If anyone has a guess, give that to you smart people. The weapons, anything
Anything
notable
noteworthy?
about them?
They seem like standard weapons. They're slightly dull, well-worn, used, standard guards weapons.
Nothing that would make me think magical or anything like that. They don't seem like pristine
No
magic
particularly
condition.
keen edge, no intricate markings or runes, nothing that catches the eye.
Crossbows, any of the heavy variant?
In the armory,
Yeah.
there's a rack. You can see where there are a couple of slots for crossbows. The only one that's left seems to be in poor repair, not really well kept.
Okay.
You get the sense that if you had time, you might be able to repair it and make it usable, but in
Would
its
it be
current state, it's
heavy
not.
or light?
No,
Given
it'd be
my
a heavy
knowledge of
crossbow.
it. Okay, I'm gonna grab that because I know Doran is looking for one and he gets time. So I'm just gonna put down broken heavy crossbow.
Okay.
Grab that phone in the back.
So I'm going to oh boy. What do you think?
We should probably leave the front door alone. And
Should we
oh,
not
we should-
lock the door on them?
It's not a bad idea.
Well, if you think, I would just lock this door to the armory.
Fair enough. Hide the body in one of the beds. Oh, those are all bunks in there?
Yes.
Or we take this headless body and dump him down where we just climbed up.
Do that too.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take the
Okay.
headless body and just shove him through the hole and put it down.
Hold up. Make sure you actually fall down.
Hmm?
Okay. Walking through, are there any daggers that I could pick up just as I walk by?
There are probably 2 or 3 that are left. There's another short sword. Most of the weapons seem to have gone with the guards as they armed up. This is sort of just the remnants.
Just want a dagger or two. If I can.
Sure, you can go ahead and say you grab 2 daggers.
Sweet. And then I'm gonna start moving to the staircase.
All right, you go ahead and you move to the staircase.
And I just took his stiletto dagger and the short sword off of him, and then all
Yep.
the gold and whatnot.
Yep.
Jazeera, do you know where the prison is in this tower?
I have seen this first floor, and this is the most I have seen of the tower. I don't know where we're going,
I'll
but
contact Rissa, see if she knows. We're gonna stop moving up the stairs.
Just inform her that we are
Let's go.
in the tower and moving.
All right, I'll pull out the sending stone.
okay. You pull out the
We've
sending
made
stone.
it.
What do you send?
We have made entrance, well, on the first level, moving up. Do you know what level Leon is being kept on?
There's a pause for a minute and a half before you get a response back. But when you do, Rista responds, we don't know much about the layout of the tower at all. We guess that she's probably going to be on the upper floors somewhere, but we don't know.
In the highest room of the tallest tower.
There
That's
was
where
a
I put
princess
somebody.
with a golden blonde hair that
Oh,
reached all the way
that's-
to the ground.
So did we already pass the dragon in the tunnel?
I
Yes,
was
we
the
did.
dragon in the tunnel.
You were the baby dragon in the tunnel.
Right, up the stairs we go.
This,
I want to
and I'll hold this up real quick. This seems to be possibly either directions or maybe even the obstacles that we have to face.
I think that its solution may become clearer the higher up we go.
Yes. Or something to keep.
How tall from the outside moving up to this tower is this tower? How many floors would I guesstimate?
You only barely got to see it from a distance, still a ways off. You know, it's taller than the trees that you saw. You did not get close enough to really explore.
0.
From what we saw, the outside is between 70 and 100 feet tall. We didn't get close enough to make any accurate measurements.
Right, well, further up and further in. I would lead the way.
I'm gonna start cautiously moving up the stairs.
All
Try
right,
to be
you go
quiet,
ahead,
do
you move
so.
up the stairs.
Look for Joe.
As you're heading
Yeah.
up, you don't hear anything in particular, nothing moving up. Go ahead and unroll the yellow 2 parchment paper. Bang, map.
Just leave that
Oh,
there.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
I know.
It happens. We'll keep it over here in case we go downstairs.
Okay. And here we go.
As y'all head up the stairs, the spiral stairway is stonework. These steps are fairly broad. And as you get closer to the top, Kazator, Jojo gets your attention and he says, funny smells. Interesting smells. Sort of familiar, but weird.
Familiar how?
I've smelled some of them before. Not all of them.
People?
No. Like a potion? It smells like a potion.
Like a good potion or a bad potion?
Just like a potion.
Hmm. Interesting. I will, in an effort to keep down the spoken aloud things, I will tell Val so he can relay to the party. That just simply that Jojo smells something, that he smells potions of some sort.
You do notice as you emerge from the staircase and come into the room, there are more of these same little statues. These little minion gargoyle imp-like creatures.
We don't recognize what
They
we
Say what?
We don't recognize what the actual creature is that the statue is of.
Make a history check.
19.
19. You do recognize the sort of traditional portrayal of an imp in statuary. These are fiends, devils of some small kind, not particularly notable or powerful on their own, frequently used as messengers or go-tos or not go-tos, but gophers.
So I recognize all of these.
Oh yeah, you're
my-
quite familiar with these from your studies.
Does this remind me of the keep at all?
Those are more skeletal than.
Yes, but the idea behind them being that there is almost like some weird persona of ability for life. Or do I get the feeling like I'm being watched?
Halbert's fairly paranoid. I feel like he's almost always feels like he's being watched. Having these statues with their backs to the wall, their glowing little shards of gems for eyes is unnerving. I could see that.
Are they alive?
They're unmoving.
I'm going
They
to run
are-
another divine sense to see if I sense their presence or if they are inert, essentially.
Okay. Go ahead and use that divine sense. Mark that off, and you
Yep.
do sense fiends,
And it's like a little imp.
like something small. Yeah.
Is it? Do I recognize it? Is it an imp?
Yeah.
Is it so devilish, infernal based.
Yeah. Infernal.
Okay.
Dorn.
I will walk up to one of them, and I will take my axe and swing it at it.
You swing it at it. Roll to hit.
That's a natural 19, so
Oh yeah, it's
28.
definitely. You take your axe, you swing it through, you cleave it in half. It shatters like stone. Your axe sinks a little bit into the other wall. The split falls apart into multiple pieces,
It's
like a
stone.
statue.
Okay. These little circles.
Yes.
So I cut into it, and I sensed fiend. It was stone,
Yes.
and it didn't move, or there's
Nope.
no. Is it stone colored?
Yeah, it looks like a statue.
Does it look like a statue, or does it look like a imp who was petrified? Like, is it like in a normal statue pose, or is it like a panic, or is there something going on?
Like I'm
It looks
getting a
sort
white
of like
witch.
how gargoyles are fiercely posed in statuary to keep the evil spirits away.
Right.
It seems to be that same sort of idea where they're in ferocious poses. They don't seem to have any essence of life to them. They don't seem to have any fear in there. Like, it wasn't like they were afraid and then caught in a moment of terror or anything.
Can Dorn bust the other one?
He can.
Doran would certainly be willing to bust the other one.
Oh, Doran, if you would like to swing.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
Doran will take the hammer. Let's see.
I'd like to be quietly moving around the side where they're checking on that.
All right. As you go ahead and you move around, this
Looking for
area
stuff.
has a number of large shelving units where there are bottles and little boxes and little setups of various what looks to be alchemical ingredients. As you go around the corner,
15 with the
yeah,
hammer.
that hits.
Bludgeon.
Yep, smash.
While they're smashing things, I'm gonna run over here to the, and I'm assuming, just because I know Quesator, just start checking the bottles and stuff.
Go ahead and unroll the P2 scroll.
There's a lot of scrolls.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, what the John?
Halberd, as you head around the corner, you find a blank wall. There is a long, low table set up. There is a potion that is brewing. There's a very slight bubbling to it against the wall. You don't see any signs of a door. Yeah, but you don't see any signs of it yet, so.
Sorry, I just forgot to mark that. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Big picture Sanctum group.
Yeah. Yeah. This is. We're filling up the bag of holding, bro.
Good.
You find a wide array of alchemical ingredients. Do you just start taking them off the shelves? Do you just start looting?
What?
Hold the thought, because I'm trying to take a picture. There's that.
Quesador, do you mind joining me over here?
I'm going to.
Certainly.
The plot thickens.
Hang on. Let me see what level this is. Okay. I'm going to cast find trap.
All right. Hold up, let me pull up the spell.
It's ranged within 120 feet.
Yeah,
And
I've got it
it's a
here. Let me scan it real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
Because anything that would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect, you consider harmful or undesirable,
Are those all
especially
the same?
specifically intended to such values creator. Okay, yes, you do find a trap.
Where's the trap?
There is some element of the trap on the bookshelves. There's some element that is tied to the. Actually, it smells merely reveals that a trap is present. You don't learn the location of each trap. You do learn the general nature of the danger posed by a trap you sense. You learn it's an alarm that is likely to go off. That some action in this room would cause alarms to sound.
Do I get the sense that it's a magic trap or a actual physical trap?
It's hard to tell. You just know that a trap is there.
Okay, well.
All right. Man, I don't want to burn through spells, but
Hold on, let's think about this. So the paper from the dead man had things listed on it. And this is a whole lot of information written down. Look, the first thing says green things scorned. 5 oh.
5 to the left, 5th from the left, maybe.
Well, green things scorned. There's a list thing here that says goblin spit. One of the bottles says goblin spit. Don't touch anything. Let's just look right now.
Bacillus stomach acid. Lauren, first off,
Yes.
solid. A lot of detail. Well done, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bacillus
done.
are blue. We encountered them early in the Sanctum. Right? They were blue, the ones that we encountered, right?
You shot 2 of them. One of them was blue.
Okay.
Blue-ish. Blue, purple, cool tones.
Funny dust.
2 on.
2 on. Hazer. Slip slime. Rabbit's feet.
Tentacle boots. Is a hawk's blood.
It would be the lucky.
True.
Wait 30 seconds.
So, yes, rabbit feet would be lucky.
Pretty feather would be the peacock.
Pretty red. What was it? Pretty red powder.
Wait, I saw that.
Powdered ruby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Powdered ruby. Where is powdered
Powdered
ruby?
ruby's at the end. What's
It's on the far
ruby?
left.
6R.
But
That's all the way over here on the left.
don't forget about the directions as well.
Yes, what's the 3L, 3R, 2?
I believe my assumption would be it's the stirring pattern. So you would put in green things, go on 5 stirs to the left. Funny dust,
Ah.
right, and then you end with 3. You wait 30 seconds, 3 stirs left, 3 stirs right, 2 stirs left.
So this is
A mixing.
a
Potion
mixing sort of
ingredient list.
potion.
Well, a recipe.
I know nothing about that. So is this not the key to solving the traps then?
It's the key to something. Is
When
there
Jonathan-
anything blocking our passage from leaving this room, or like as
Well,
you
we don't see a door.
or we don't see a door? Then I would imagine this somehow reveals the door or gives the one who drinks it the ability to see the door.
Lauren, question:
Yes.
This is a solid line all the way across, leading to a circle.
Yes, it's a table, a workspace, a workbench. There are a couple of various tools on it.
The circle,
Some
does it have
knives,
to
chopping
be
boards.
a
The
pot
circle
for
is
mixing
a
things?
pot, and there's a potion bubbling away in there. It's opaque right now. You can't see it. It's got a little bit of an odor to it, kind of bitter. There's a spoon that does look like it's been used with this particular potion, sitting to the side of it.
I'm going to go over to it, and is there like a ladle or something?
Yeah.
I will
Don't be dumb.
scoop a little bit out with the ladle and just kind of sniff it.
Okay.
If I catch anything.
You scoop a little, you sniff it. It's a slightly bitter smell, not terribly like overpowering. It doesn't smell like any of the potions you've particularly had experience with before, but it doesn't smell noxious.
Alright, while you're sniffing potions, however, I believe there's a trap in here. I'm picking up magically a sense of a trap. Is there any way you can search, particularly these shells, for some sort of trap?
Yes, I can do that.
I have-
Is it a magical trap that you're sensing?
That's- I don't know. I have a way to handle magical traps, but if it's not magical, I don't want to waste the spell. So I figured I'd let you take first crack at it.
Let's get cracking then. I'd like to search for a trap if you don't mind there, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Nat 20.
Boom!
All right.
For a total of
Nice.
25.
You're looking and you're looking, and your expertise comes mostly with mechanical traps. And you're not finding any weird pressure plates, you're not finding any hidden hinges or anything particularly alarming in that way. No hidden
That's
crossbow bolts in the
concerning.
walls. You're about to give up, and then you remember something that Aldir had told you about. How Luca had this spell that he had with some of the items in his study, and how there was this little silver wire that he used as the material component for that spell. And you notice this because you realize there's a pattern to some of the bottles. Around the bases, most of the bottles and boxes around them have this thin silver wire coiled around it. You remember Aldir saying that when she messed with things, when she disturbed those or moved them, there was an alarm that would sound in Luca's lab. That's why he banished her from the lab. And she was so upset about it. It was so rude of him to do it. And she was it was his own fault for her snooping. Like, he was interesting and curious, and he wouldn't answer her questions.
She did do that.
she just so
But it sticks in your mind, that little silver wire. You notice most of the bottles have a similar item, a similar wire around the base of them.
Most of them, but not all of them.
Not all of them.
What did you find, Halbert?
Found this weird working, almost like a weaving of silver wire around the bases of majority of these spell potions, similar to what Luca had in his what workroom, his room.
Are they all one long wire? Are they individual wire?
That's a very good question. Did I notice?
From what you could tell, they're all individual.
I would imagine that this alarm is intended to alert the presence of anyone who does not know the combination. Hence, the bottles that are supposed to be taken are probably the ones that are not alarmed.
Alright, while all this is going on, Soix is going to try the potion.
Okay.
God.
You try the potion. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You're so dumb. Why?
Because I pushed the shiny red button. I've always done that. 20.
20. There's you taste it, and there's a very bitter sort of upfront taste into an almost sweet taste in the back. You're like, that's odd. That doesn't taste very good. And you pause for a minute and you're like, wait a second. You sense your body. There's a slight gurgling in your stomach. But nothing happens.
Interesting.
Are your scales still the same color?
I really want Doran to come drink this.
Lauren, if with my background in spell components and working with enchantments, is do I know of onyx being used in like a laughing potion or something of that nature, or what the nature of onyx would be?
Make an Arcana check.
Arcana is going to be 12.
12, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Let me pull up my spreadsheet here. You know that onyx can be used as a spell component of a certain quality. You know recently from Doran that as a gemstone, it can be enchanted to create various runestones. You have trouble placing exactly what sort of spells would use onyx as a component, but you know that there's at least one. You've heard of at least one, and there might be more.
Okay. If I'm looking at these bottles, are powdered ruby, peacock feather, and goblin spit free of silver wire?
They seem to be.
Can I
By the way,
take
people, don't
what
drink
others
potion.
seem to be
Maybe
free of
that's
silver
what-
wire?
Why would you do that?
Say that one more time, Kazator.
Can I look to see which other bottles might be free of silver wire?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Can I just point them out to him?
First you
If
have
you
a
like,
sheet.
sure. We'll go ahead and let y'all do that. The bottles that seem to be free of silver wire are ground humerus, vinegar, dulled beholder blood, spider eyes, redstone dust, rabbit's foot, eel eye, slug slime, frog brain, sheep's milk, blink dog saliva, newt tail, powdered ruby, griffin claws, goblin spit, peacock feather, and rat spleen.
I think I only got sent a partial picture. Is there more than one?
Yeah, there's 3.
There are
I thought
three.
Wes was sending
I
them
was
to
like, I can't. That's why I was at. Okay, that makes more sense. I was having
All right,
trouble.
I've got 3 on mine.
Okay, hold on.
This is like playing freaking bingo.
You run through that list again so we can mark them.
All right, from the beginning, one more time.
Sorry.
Ground humorous,
Okay.
gelled beholder blood,
Beholder blood.
vinegar,
Got it.
spider's eyes,
Got it.
redstone dust,
Got it.
Powdered
armadillo bile,
Armadillo vial. Got it.
rabbit's foot,
Yep.
eel eye, slug slime,
Slug slime. Got it.
frog brain,
Frog brain. Got it.
sheep's milk, blink dog saliva,
Got it.
newt tail, powdered ruby,
Got it.
griffin claws,
Got it.
goblin spit,
Yeah.
peacock feather,
Hmm.
and rat spleen.
Rat spleen.
Got it.
Okay, so we're missing the eel. The eye of the eel.
Eel slime.
She said.
I believe
eel eye.
if you all are willing to make this potion, that the green things scorn would be the goblin spit, funny dust, ground humorous, jumpy thinky is the frog brain, pretty red powder is powdered ruby, prettier feather is peacock feather, and lucky is the rabbit's foot.
Hmm.
Okay, that sounds good.
And those are the ones that are not
Trapped. Yes.
trapped. Right?
Correct.
Yeah, those did not have the silver wire on them.
Well,
Kizstone, do you want to give this a shot?
Let's do it.
All
Why not?
I'll start helping him grab
I will take
everything.
those ingredients and I will put them in the order. I will put in green things scorn and give 5 stirs to the left.
As you do, the bubbling increases and it takes on a faint teal hue.
Ground humorous, 2 to the right.
It becomes more opaque and takes on a sort of milky coloration.
Frog brain, 1 stir to the left.
The bubbling ceases and there's a thin waft of steam that rises from it.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad. Ruby dust, 6 stirs right.
You add the ruby dust, and as you do, the milky opaqueness starts to clear. You start seeing there's something on the bottom of the pot. There's something down in the bottom.
Okay. Peacock feather, 2 stirs left.
You add the peacock feathers, and as you add them, you can see they go in, and there's a brief flash of rainbow light, and then they're gone.
That seems
The
good.
potion becomes even more translucent.
Okay. Rabbit's foot and wait 30 seconds.
As you wait, there seems to be a brief period of bubbling and boiling, and then there's a hiss, and the boiling dies away, and the potion becomes still and utterly clear.
3 stirs left, 3 stirs right, 2 stirs left.
All right. As you complete the stirring, you stir the 3 times, there's a tension that starts to take over the spoon. You switch directions, you stir to the right. It becomes harder and harder, more viscous. You stir to the left 2 more times. And at that last stir, there's a sudden release of tension. You look down into the pot, and it is as clear as though there is water inside. And at the very bottom, there's a small bell.
Well done, Mr. Potter.
It's
I was
probably.
gonna say, I'll reach in and take. They did call me the Half-Blood Prince. I'll take it
can you,
Hold on,
fish that out?
Yeah, don't reach in. Oh, hold on.
and pull out the bell.
Oh, Touch the bell.
You
Don't
reach
touch the
in.
bell.
You pull out the bell.
You
As you reach, you can feel the water start to sort of move around your hand. There is a sensation almost of, you know how like when a fish swims against your arm and you don't necessarily see it, but you feel that sliding sensation? That's almost what you feel when you reach in and you grab the bell. You pull your hand free. The potion resumes a sort of opaque, milky hue. Your hand is completely dry. The bell is pristine. It is brassy and shiny, and there is a small sort of clapper inside. As a connoisseur of musical instruments, you can tell that this is a very well-made bell. That this, if it's wrong, will produce a very clear, pure tone. This is a high-quality instrument.
Yeah. I will give it a light little ting-a-ling.
You ding-a-ling-a-ling, and for a moment nothing happens. The tone rings out, and it's energizing almost. You listen to it, and all of y'all hear it, and there's an uplifting of your spirit. There's an energizing and a
level up.
That's fascinating.
Okay, Sator, did you ever consider that alarms are attached to bells?
You ever consider that poison and things like that are attached to drinking
Oh,
potions?
for sure. I
Last thing
always
I'd like
warned
to.
against that.
Yeah, I'd just love to see you turn into a mouse next time you drink something like
It's
that.
funny.
Not for the
As
rest
the
of
echoes
us.
of the bell die away, there is a brief grinding sound. A veneer of stone slides away to reveal a door, a passageway, leading clockwise into the next room.
I'll step forward
Guys, we
and
just
look for
escape room this.
any type of trap or anything like that along tripwires, things like that.
You do find a thin silver wire embedded into the ground.
Where the door was, like when it slid open.
Where the door was, where it slid open.
Well, stank. I'm gonna.
I can deal with it.
Thin silver wire all across the door.
Across the door, yeah. Like where the threshold would be.
I will cast a spell magic.
Okay. You cast the spell. The silver wire breaks. It snaps into several pieces and seems to tarnish a little bit. It loses its shine. There is no more alarm on the doorway.
Lauren, I'm going to take one of the empty vials I have and skip some of the potion and put it in there and torch it for whatever. Through who knows? We'll have case to identify it later.
Sounds like a plan.
I'd like to move into the room very cautiously, looking for traps while we're going.
Right. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That's going to be an 8.
8. You're going into the room and you see these bookshelves and you see this workstation, this table all along the wall with various pieces of parchment and scrolls. There's a map on one of them that seems to have some notes jotted down on it. You're not finding any traps in particular, nothing that seems to be designed to alarm or cause any other effect like that.
Map of what?
It is a map of a region. It's not one that you're familiar with. It's not one that you've seen before. There's nothing really on here that
to have a northern
tactical. Does it
spin on
appear topography or like what do I think of?
A topographical.
Topographical. Thank you. Does it appear topographical, tactical, both? Neither.
Generally topographical, showing the various mountain ranges, forested areas. It's for a relatively small location, and it seems to be centered around a a prominent city or fortification of some kind.
Is it big enough that I could like take it and roll it up?
Yeah, you could roll it up.
Okay, I'm gonna keep that resume. I'll have use of this, and who knows? So
30 seconds, examine your scrolls, and we're moving on. I'm going to start moving to, looks like there's a stairway there, and I'm going to start moving to that. Time is of the essence, my friend.
Okay. You start heading on up, heading into the stairwell.
and number 3.
And number 3.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
Good for you. Take the whole thing.
Boom chocolate. There you go. There you go.
Getting high on Sharpie over here.
Oh, dude, this does it take me back to John? Lego magazines are circling all the things I want.
Oh, yes.
The immediate smell of that.
You know, Lauren, you drew such pretty circles and squares and rectangles on here.
Yeah, yours are perfect. I don't know.
Mine are fast.
Yours are left-handed.
What'd you say about perfect? I do believe those are one and the same, are they not?
There's a reason they keep on saying, I am not left-handed.
Yes, they're admitting that they too are flawed.
No, and then they progress to be better.
Halberd, you're the first up into this room. Is that right?
Mhm.
All right. You head up and you get to the top of the stairs and you freeze because you see this large open room. Directly ahead of you, you see more stairway leading up. But what really catches your attention are the tanks, these pods, these stasis chambers that are made of some sort of glass or clear crystal. And they're filled with this slightly green tinged bubbling liquid. And within these little pods floating in this liquid are small forms of dragons of various development ages. There are a couple that are eggs still. There is one that seems to be close to hatching. You see where the egg has started thinning and become more of a membrane, and you can see the shadow of a wormling hidden within it. And you can see the others all have wormlings floating in these tanks of various ages, stages of development, sizes. These are all black dragon wormlings, black dragon eggs. You see that they are not awake, they're not moving, they're just floating, suspended in these pods.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of benches and tables. There are workstations. There are some papers on these stations. There's one that seems to be a journal with some pen and ink next to it. Various scrolls, various writings. What are y'all doing?
There's a door right here.
Yes.
Leading into that room. These little sections here, that's completely walled off, yes? I didn't miss anything? Okay.
No, there's a solid wall. There are 2 doors to your right. You don't know what's within those rooms yet.
They are closed,
but straight ahead of you.
They're closed?
They're closed.
Okay. Well,
Val, ask Carissa how the diversion's going and how they're doing outside. I'm going to walk over to the table and see what the journals are saying.
I will join him.
Okay. As you are
I'm looking at
walking over, Val is contacting Rissa. Rissa is a little distracted. It's like, so far everything's going well. They've managed to evade detection for the most part. They've been seen, they've been spotted, but they seem to be leading them on quite a chase. None of our side has been captured yet, although some minor wounds have been taken. We seem to be doing all right for the most part. Have you found any sign of Lirin yet?
We're working our way up right now.
Right.
Not as of yet, but we'll make our way there.
Okay. Halberd, you find what appears to be a sort of scientific journal. It starts reading very clinically. You flip through, you find various pages following different, what they call subjects or trials. Trial number 014, subject F, shows increased sensitivity to strong alkaline compounds. Trial terminated. Trial number 015, subject F meets expected tolerance threshold, increased alkalinity by 2%. Subject F unable to meet expected threshold, trial terminated. Trial number 016, subject M unable to maintain appropriate body mass, trial terminated. Trial number 017, subject F unable to maintain appropriate body mass, trial terminated. Trial number 018, subject M produced innately complex acidic compound when exposed to 20% ethanoic acid solution. Trial advanced to stage 2. Trial number 019, subject F shows evidence of stronger membrane when exposed to 20% ethanoic acid solution. Trial advanced to stage 2. Trial number 020, subject M shows no evidence of innate progress. Trial terminated. It just goes on, describing the various trials and sort of experiments that have been done. A lot of the language is sort of beyond you. It's a little bit over your head, some of the terminology that they're using, but there's obviously some sort of experimentation process being done.
Just while he's reading that, which one of these tanks shows the most developed critter?
Least developed was closest to where you came in. Most developed is closest to the stairs on the other side.
So right here.
Yep.
I'd like to put myself close there and see if I'm getting any kind of telepathic response from it. Is it conscious or is it not?
You reach out and make contact with your telepathy?
Mm-hmm. Not saying anything, just establishing the connection. And
As
seeing if
you
she can do
establish, right, as you establish a connection, there's an answering, the connection is made. There's a sense of waiting. You see the little figure inside start to twitch just slightly, as though, like when a cat is dreaming or when a dog is dreaming and they start getting the little paw twitches, the little leg twitches. That's what you're starting to see in this.
All right, as soon as it starts moves, I'll break contact.
Do you speak Draconic?
I do not, but I'm able to connect with them. They are alive. They are conscious. Well,
Of course
sort
they
of.
are.
Howard, we have 2 doors behind us. We should go look at those and then be out of here.
I'm going to take the journal and hand it to Casator. Do you mind holding on to this? I feel like you might be able to make a little bit of sense of it down the road. Knowledge is your thing.
Just from the brief reading I did over your shoulder, it sounds like they're trying to increase the potency of the dragon's own poison. And they were talking about immunity or resistance to alkaline solutions, which is the counter to acid. They're trying to create a super dragon.
Would not be surprised. I would have no problem if we killed every single one of them in here, but time is of the essence.
Did you say they're attempting to make a black dragon that is already immune to acid, also resistant to that which would attack acid?
Exactly. They were talking about a higher resistance to alkaline solution is what you use to neutralize an acid. If they are creating a resistance to that and increasing the potency of the dragon's own acid to make it both more powerful and better able to defend itself.
We find there, and then we maybe let listen, know what's going on in this tower.
On the way out,
Priorities.
we
Check the doors.
bust every glass that we can. I'm going to move over to one of the doors and see if it's locked or unlocked.
It is unlocked.
Any traps attached to it?
Make an investigation check.
7.
7.
Ouch.
None that you find.
I will open up the door.
You open up the door. As you open the door, nothing happens. There doesn't seem to be any traps. You head on in, and
know,
you
right?
are overwhelmed by a strong scent of like a metallic tang in the air. You look, there's a rack of tools, knives of various sizes and widths. There are a number of clamps and various medical tools, it looks like, to one extent or another. And you look to your left, and you see there is a table, and on this table is what looks to be like a necropsy in progress, where where one of the wormling forms is being dissected and explored to figure out to learn something from it. You can see some of the organs have been taken out and bottled that are set there on the table. Some of them are still contained within, like whatever was happening here was in progress and then disturbed.
I'd like to open up the bottles and pour the stuff out on the floor, grab a whip, and walk out the room.
Okay, you do that.
And I'm going to start walking up the stairs.
Another room.
Well, I thought one of y'all would take that.
You find
the traps.
Here.
I have to go through spells to find traps.
I will
so-
go search the other room as well.
You go and search. You search the other room. You
as
check
I
for traps.
for
Go ahead
traps.
and make another investigation roll.
23.
Nice. You are very confident this time. The door is unlocked. There are no traps.
Cool.
As you open it up, you see this room is a mirror to the other room, except it is clean. It is pristine. There does not seem to be anything in progress here. It is prepared for whatever may happen next.
Cool. Now I'm going to go start walking up the stairs.
Now you head up the stairs.
Number 4.
Another.
As a note, as we head upstairs, so we'll continue to look at and just sort of look at for a little while, and then go up the stairs as he looks at the eggs and the dragons in there.
I need to die.
Oh, this can't be good.
Can't see.
Okay.
Hey,
Don't
Casator.
worry
be
about
back.
tracing that whole thing.
Yeah, I could see it.
This is your specialty, my friend.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, do we want to go to break here?
Let's
Yes.
go ahead. Let's go to break. We'll take a quick break. We will come back here in just a couple of minutes. Thank y'all for being patient, and we will see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back. We'll go ahead and we will jump straight into the action for today because this is exciting.
Oh.
Oh. All right. So y'all have just come upon the 4th floor of the tower. You see etched into the floor this arcane design, and you can see it is a long-standing, well-worn arcane sigil. Around the border of it, you can see various runes and carvings, various symbols that are used to enact different spells for different rituals. This seems to be, as below, we had more of the scientific workshop for the experiments in that particular trial, and before that we had the alchemist work area. This seems to be more focused for the arcane and the magic that's associated with that. So as you come into this room, it's actually the first room where you can really smell that smell that you'd gotten a whiff of before, Halberd, that sort of acrid scent. And you see the floor above is starting to show various roots of vine work that come and seem to have be pervading through the tower and starting to eat through and move through the stonework here. So there, you're starting to see some of that as it goes up. This is a very old room, and you're starting to get the sense of that.
This room is not good.
Clarification for some things, Lauren?
Yes.
This circle is?
That is another stasis pod. That one is currently empty.
These lines are?
Those are bookshelves. There are various
then-
tomes, scrolls. That is a table, a workspace. There are a couple more papers and a couple other like journal entry things that are looking there, kind of scattered
And
around.
Door
Door
and door.
and door.
No visible exits.
No visible exits.
All right, real quick,
Okay.
Lauren,
Yes.
from Val's time with the Inspired, does this look familiar?
Make a history check.
Not the one I was hoping you were going to say. All right.
Reaching back into your
22.
memory. There are elements of it that do look familiar. There are some, and you know this from your time with the Sanctum also, there are some arcane runes that deal specifically with transportation and moving between planes, with thinning the barrier, with moving from one place to another, with calling things and conjuring things from one place to bring them to another plane of existence. There are elements of that you do see in this symbol, in this circle.
Does this look like one of the gates that Val escaped through?
No, this looks different. This does not look specifically like a gate. Make an Arcana check, and Kizator, you make one too.
Cool. I was gonna ask.
Oh, yes. Plus 6.
16.
16 plus 6. 22 again.
Okay. Both of you do recognize there are, this is a very well prepared, very thoroughly prepared ritual space. There are elements from a wide variety of schools of magic that are included here, and you get the sense that these can be activated based on the various components or timings or participants of a ritual to enact a wide variety of spells.
Well, before we get too focused on this, I do see two doors on either side that may hold some keys for us.
And a giant table in front of us.
Perhaps we should not walk on the sigil in front of us. And Howard, if you want to go inspect some of these doors.
It should be safe as long as we don't activate it. These are typically necessary to have intentional activation, not just...
I will say, Val, from my time working with sigils, such as my arcane glyphs, that can be triggered to go off at essentially whatever trigger I set when creating the sigil, I would lean towards the side of caution with Soyex's to say not to walk on it, even if you may be right that it may be inert.
I would like to walk up to the table and see what's exactly on, because you said it's right there.
Yes.
Yeah, so nice and cautious like, and
Did you say it was a table or it was a tank?
Well,
The
there's a
round
tank
one
over here.
is the tank.
Yeah.
The three lines are the bookshelves, and there's a long table along the wall that you
Howard's at the
entered on.
table, I'm at the tank,
okay.
Val's at the bookshelves.
Yeah, Val's checking out the books.
Yeah.
All
But,
right. Each of y'all who are looking at these things and taking some time to look a little closer, go ahead and roll me investigation checks. And actually, we'll go ahead and we'll start with Halberd.
me. Okay, investigation. 21.
21. All right. You find a number of papers describing various arcane experiments and the processes of trying to create new spells, specifically for planar travel. something used for more large-scale teleportation rather than personal use, trying to make it easier and more accessible. There is a comment that you find something about how Felucia brought an artifact to thin the plains, how Isharvalon cautions against overuse. There seems to be some sort of disagreement between these people mentioned, but how I take this and I use it, and I've done these experiments on it, describing the mostly failed experiments trying to make it easier to go from one plane to another.
It appears there's some sort of notes about teleporting between planes over here. And if that's all that's on the table, I'm going to slowly work my way around to the door on the north side.
Okay.
Hmm.
We'll go ahead and we'll jump to that here in just a moment.
Teleportation between planes.
Mhm.
This is the Brotherhood. This is Tiamat. This is a small space, but a starting
Yeah.
point, if nothing else, to try
Could be
to
a
summon
practice.
forth.
And keeping there, and a key member of the Sanctum. That would definitely sound like something the Brotherhood would do.
Well, anything else in this room?
Dungeon Master?
Who all is looking at the tank? Is there anyone looking at that?
I
Or are y'all
rolled
looking
a
at the circle?
14. I rolled a
14.
14 for the tank.
Right. The tank, you can't tell if it's made of a strong glass or a very clear crystal that has been transmuted or formed to the shape required. This one is empty. There does seem to be a stand and some drain at the bottom where it is able to be filled or used as needed. There is evidence that it has been used at one point in time. There are somewhere in the bottom of it, some marks where, you know, like when hard water dries, it evaporates and it leaves behind those thin lines, and you can see where it's been. You do see some of that. And as you're looking closer, you can see where the inside is ever so slightly pockmarked and pitted, as though it's been eaten away just a little bit. So it's almost
As
like
if an acidic something would.
something like that, yes.
Okay.
Those of y'all on the bookshelves, who's looking at the bookshelves?
The smart boys.
Okay, go ahead, and what did you roll?
9.
Modified 20.
Okay. Quesator,
Owen
you're
got a
going
4.
beyond.
Just fun.
That sounds right. Well, he's still a little bit distracted. Anytime y'all get just a moment, he's thinking and he's going back and looking at the runes and trying to figure out, okay, these symbols, how do they work? How do they connect? He's just not having a whole lot of luck with that. These sigils here, he's trying to see how they interact with his runes, and it's just not working very well. Quesator is finding some tools, some blank parchments, some paper, some journals that have been started but are mostly gibberish at this point, sort of just failed experiments. Val, you're looking especially at the northernmost one, right? Is that where I see your mini is?
Yes.
Okay. You're looking, and most of these books are sort of basic and intermediary levels of magic. You're not finding anything that really catches your eye, except you notice there's something different about how this bookshelf is set against the wall compared to the other two. With the other two, there's a little bit of a gap where it's actually like a bookshelf and it's against a wall. You're not finding that with this particular shelf.
I'll whistle over at Halberd. I found something odd about this particular bookshelf. Do you want to check and make sure it's not mechanically trapped before we use magic on it?
For you, I just might be able to do that. As I walk by the room, what do I see inside the northern room?
It is not a room, actually. As you walk past the door, you hear the outside. You hear the wind blowing. You hear the calls of voices. You get the sense that heading outside that door is probably a balcony of some kind.
Do I get the same sense from the southern door that I'm
You do.
next to?
You do. Halberd, as you get to the northernmost bookshelf, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Oh, please. That one.
That one. You're a little bit distracted. You are still focused on the dragons that are downstairs and the rage that sort of rises up within you. You can agree with Val, yeah, that's a little bit wonky, but you're not able to pinpoint what exactly is going on with that.
All right.
Is it
Sorry about
clear?
you, bud.
All right. I'm gonna try to move the bookshelf.
Doran's right next to you. He can help you.
You don't.
He does. I slide a deck of illusions card under the sigil. I'm just kidding.
You're a terrible person.
Hello.
That would be
Oh, I hate
delightful.
you.
I really wanted to, but it's just not the situation. I know I wouldn't. Case COVID.
Alright, you go ahead and you try to shift the bookshelf. Make an athletics check for me. If Doran is assisting, go ahead and have him roll one also.
Yes, please.
Oh, Jazeera, what exactly is your specialty?
You asked me with my mouth full.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask her while I look up what Doran's stats are.
She's like, I move quietly. I'm very familiar with the forest and the moving around in there. And if I need to, I can, well, I can shoot quite a ways with remarkable aim, if I do say so myself.
Are you also good at finding
Matt
traps?
Halberd?
I look at her and just smile.
I mean, I've got a fair set of eyes if you need assistance. It seems
Well,
like your
just-
friend's trying to move some things around.
Going forward, it might not be a bad plan. Halberd already checked this one, but Doran got a 23.
And Val
Okay.
got an 18. The
All
only
right.
strength thing he's doing today.
His muscles are tired after this.
There's a brief moment where you're leaning against the bookshelf and you're like, holy crap, this is the strongest bookshelf. And then you realize it's actually set into the wall. Now, this bookshelf is not just a bookshelf, it is also a secret door. And Jazeera, when she sees you struggling with it and shifting it and starting to move it, she sort of darts around, reaches up, and unhooks a little latch that had been stuck behind it. And
Girl.
the door swings itself wide open. Val and Doran almost land on their faces, tumbling into a pile. And you see a very narrow, very dark staircase leading up.
Of course.
Well,
Hold on, before we move on these bookshelves, do I see any silver wire?
You were looking with your mod 20. You would not have
Mhm.
seen any at this point.
Okay. Then basically the how-to books. I want to steal those how-to books.
Okay. You go ahead, you take them, you slip them into the bag of holding.
so what do we have?
I'm sure we'll get stats for those later, but like however many how-to books, how-to magic books.
How to magic books.
Yes.
How many?
Lauren?
Basically 2 elementary and 2 intermediate. So 4 total. Part 1, part 2, part 1, part 2.
How to read. How to read slowly.
Right, I have how to
Every-
magic books 4.
And a copy
Okay.
of Everybody Poops.
All right. moving up to level 5?
I'll take point.
Yeah, that copy of Everybody Poops is right next to All My Friends Are Dead.
Oh, I want that book. Because I can fix that problem.
I have that. That's my. I wrote the book. I didn't know they published it on this world.
So y'all head on upstairs. And while you're going through a very dark, very narrow, very tight space, Val, make me another wisdom check.
Of course.
Wisdom saving throw, I should say.
Nat
2.
20?
I want witnesses.
Cool. Look at you. You're so great.
Yes. Not 20.
Nice.
By the way, it
Bravo.
helps when you buy loaded dice.
Right.
All right, so
But seriously,
you have a brief moment of hesitation as you start going into this tight space, but you know you've been making good progress. You know Liren's got to be close. You know your friends are with you. You've got faith that you can get through this, and so you start making your way up, and you aren't overwhelmed by the panic.
Okay.
So you start going up, and up, and up, and up. And it feels like you're going up for a long time, longer than any other staircase that you've gone up. And it feels like you're going in a slightly tighter circle multiple times. You feel like you've been taking a slight turn, and a slight turn, and a slight turn, and a slight turn, until you've circled the building, it feels like, at least twice. And then you get to a wall. It's a dead end. Who's at the very front? What was the marching order for this?
I'd be right behind them with the lantern.
All right. Halberd, make me an investigation check. Roll investigation for me.
17.
17. Yeah, you find a sort of matching hook. Like, you'd seen how Jazeera had done it downstairs, and knowing what to look for now, you easily find the unlocking mechanism, and the door swings open. And you look out into a room, dimly lit, and it is almost like stepping back into a forest, except instead of trees, there are tall vines, and instead of a healthy, strong forest, you smell almost swampy. You see vines extending thick and strong, almost as thick as tree trunks, from the roof, the ceiling, down to the floor, and in through between the stones and the concrete. You realize the only thing holding this this room together is whatever magic is maintaining the tower. You hear water bubbling shiftily, and then you hear the sound of something moving. Something small. Little gurs and args. And sounds almost as though something is hunting, playing with their prey. And then you hear a little grr, gotcha! What do
Did
you
we
do?
finally find Gribble?
Can I tell where that's coming from?
From somewhere in the room. Probably somewhere on the farther side from where you entered in.
Can we keep moving in?
Yeah, I'm gonna motion back quiet, and I'm going to very quietly slip into the room and see if I can blend in with the vines and such.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, slip in, make a stealth roll.
22.
22. Yeah, easily. You slip in, and there's a thin curtain of vines that you sort of see close to the entrance. You can step into and hide really easily. And as you do, you realize you're stepping through these vines that form almost a curtain, and it's, wait a second, there's a little hammock there between the vines. You're stepping into the shadows, you're staying around the side of the room, and you see movement over on the far side, something small, 3 or 4 feet, maybe, moving, jumping. Looks like it's wrestling with something a little bit.
Here.
Really quick, I'm gonna say the word quietly. Say the word, Cora, and switch my arm to look kind of like a ghillie suit.
Okay.
And then I'm going to back up against the wall.
You go ahead and you come on into this room. Let's go ahead and have y'all all come in, and you'll all roll stealth checks for me as you are moving forward into this.
Mm-mm.
Okay, Doran. I got a 4. Doran got a 17.
Wow.
19 and 16. So he
Very nice, Doran.
I got an 18 and a 3. So
Kazator.
Rolled a 2 for an 8.
8. Halberd.
22.
22. Nice.
It's my ghillie suit.
It is actually. None of y'all did as bad as Jazeera, who rolled a natural 1. So bravo
but
there.
I feel like all her numbers still add up to more than 4.
I mean, yeah, this is true. She, with the stats, she does. But still, in any case, you'll go ahead and you'll come in, and there's a brief sound, a brief scuff that's made as someone rubs against the doorway that had been hidden, disguised to look like a wall, and you hear a little voice. Mommy, I'm over here.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. Where did you say the voice was coming from?
Over on the other side of the room from y'all. If you would like, you can go ahead and get out map number 5 at this point.
Is the squiggly line
This is 5.
water?
Sorry, let's see. Yes. It is a raised area. You do get the sense that is where the bubbling, watery sound is coming from.
So this
Over
is
on the
water
other side
that's
of it.
raised?
Yes, like I think like a tub,
Okay.
sort of, or a jacuzzi area that's sort of raised. There's steps into it. Over on the other side of it is where you're seeing the motion and hearing the voice coming from.
Okay. All these circles are
Vines that are big enough to be like tree trunks that are moving from the ceiling down to the.
and this is
It's hard to see at this point, but for y'all, without mitigating it too much, that is a set of stairs that is disguised to go up.
okay. Cool. It was
Or
drawn
excuse
a
me,
little
down.
differently, so I didn't know.
Those are stairs to go down.
Okay.
So is that where we came from, or we come in from the southwest?
No, y'all came in from the southwest. That's right.
Okay. Because yeah, in front of here was a little line that looked like a wall or something. So that's why I assumed we came in from here, because this is a doorway right here. So
yeah,
we came here. Okay. Okay.
I'm going to keep on slowly moving up, keeping my eyes open for where the little voice is coming from, and the little one, where they're at, what they look like.
All right. As you're moving around, moving carefully through the room, you see the form of a young girl playing with some sort of toy, it looks like, through the vines. Was sort of roughhousing with it, like a large plushie.
Does she have vampire teeth?
Are you close enough to tell?
I don't
Make a
know. I don't
perception
know if
check
I
for
want
me.
to be close enough to find out.
Roll perception for me. Let's see how well you see.
24.
24?
24.
Okay. You don't get close enough to see whether she has vampire teeth or not. But you do see that there's a birthmark or a scar, some sort of discoloration on half of her face and down her arm and down her leg, like half of her body has this dark marking splashed over it. It reflects the light oddly, almost as though it was wet.
Would it look like something like acid scarring or anything like that on the body?
No, you've seen that. You've seen that with Lirin, and those healed like normal scars, like white almost, and it was recessed as though the flesh had been kind of eaten away in certain places. This is not. This is keeping the same shape as her skin. She looks strong. She looks healthy, young. She's very active, playing and wrestling around with a toy. In fact, she's wrestling.
Because we have representation.
Over on the eastern, eastern side of that, right over there. Yep.
Okay.
Whirling around, wrestling in that like 10-foot square area.
Does it almost look like a burn scar?
No. Not from like what you can see. As y'all move a little bit farther into the room, she's like, she calls out again, "Mommy?" And then just goes back to her playing. And as y'all move around a little bit, get a little bit better view through the vines, you see that those dark splashes are actually scales. And where those scales are, on that hand, there are not fingernails, but claws almost. You can see the doll she's playing with is sort of a rag doll. It is torn up, it is ripped to shreds, is not destroyed quite yet, but well on its way.
She's a literal half-dragon.
What color are the scales?
Black.
Seeing the draconic nature of her, I am actually going to walk out. And in draconic, I will say to her, "Hello. I don't believe we've met yet. My name is Soliex."
When you walk out and you address her, she looks at you. "You're not Mommy.
No.
Where's Mommy?"
Is she speaking in draconic or common?
She is speaking in draconic.
No, I'm not. I'm looking for your mother. She told me to meet me here in this tower, and I can't seem to find her anywhere. Do you think you could show me where?
Make a deception check.
Real good.
Starting to lie a lot.
23.
23.
Somebody who's lying is against their tenants.
Okay.
You're good at it.
She stops actively backing away from you, and she looks at you. "Mommy said to stay here. Don't go to the rest of the tower."
Of course. I was just trying to find her. I thought she was going to be below, but I didn't see her, so I continued my climb up the tower, and that's when I met you.
You're not supposed to be here. Nobody's supposed to be here. Only Mama comes here.
Oh, don't worry. I'm a friend.
Make another deception check.
Okay.
So he's not a friend.
Oh, that one is not as good. That
See,
is
here's the
only a
thing. pause for a minute before you actually tell me. Are you actively trying to befriend her, or are you trying to get her off her guard so that you can get what you need to get?
I'm trying to get her to relax a little bit so that she's not as tense, and then hopefully she'll at least let me know where the exit is that we can't see. So if she doesn't tell me where her mom is, that's fine. If she can just point me in the direction of how to get out of here, that works great too. Because right now I don't see an exit. I see a bunch of vines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and have that stand as deception.
Okay, well that's a 6.
That is a 6. Okay. Rather than calming down, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't want to be friends.
What
Can
were
I see
most of
her?
the guards that we've seen racially?
The one that you saw below was human. You had also seen you had heard tell of dragonborn and half-orc, human, and half-elf. They hadn't seen any particular halfling or gnome, or you'd asked about tiefling. You hadn't seen any of that. Beyond that, you're not sure.
Can I see the little girl?
Yeah, by this point, Silyux has probably pointed her out enough, and she has moved enough where y'all could all see her.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Fast Friends.
Okay. Remind me what
This is
what
better.
saving throw is that?
Wisdom 16.
Wisdom 16.
Kid, I'm hoping she doesn't have good wisdom.
That is a 17. That is a success.
Wow.
So her eyes sort of snap over to you, and her body language starts getting more alarmed, more aggressive. And he says, I don't like you. I want my mommy.
I'm casting
And
guys.
let me finish.
Yep.
You see, as she's talking, her form starts changing. The scales start expanding to cover the rest of her body. She drops down, crouches down to the floor, and her form starts growing and expanding. And within the next couple of seconds, you see before you not the form of a young girl, but a young black dragon. And at this point, I do want everybody to go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh!
Waited.
I'll be back.
Oh, somebody please have a better initiative count than I just did.
I grabbed the wormling in preparation, not a dog.
Oh, Lauren, I'm gonna have words with you later.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay. I don't feel as bad anymore. Oh man, cannot believe beat my save by 1.
I can't either. I was so close because I didn't roll that great, or at least I didn't think I did.
Oh.
We need to take different bases for these.
I don't like that.
Space is too big.
It's good enough.
Oh yeah. That's it.
God, that's a big old.
So she goes from little girl to that?
To a large creature, yeah.
Technically, it's on a huge base, so we're playing a little loose with this size.
Just wherever
Okay.
the center is, that's what you count your feet as.
All right, Wes. Pick a dice.
So I was going to say, actually, it's a large creature. It'd be probably about there.
It takes a 2x2. So it'd be there.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Wait, what? Oh, I don't care. I need to roll initiatives. Okay. Ooh, not good. Doing it again.
Oof. Oof. Jazeera, really?
Okay.
John, you've been waiting for this
All
for
right.
so long.
Yeah,
25 to
a
20.
little girl.
Dorn got
Fantastic.
21.
Dorn got a 21.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else?
Nope.
20 to 15.
18.
15.
Albert.
Oh God.
15 to 10.
So they're 14 for me.
I got
10 to
a
5.
6. I got a 6. Is Jazeera less than 6?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Jazeera
Alright.
rolled a natural 1.
Again?
So
Yeah.
was she what, a 5 then?
Let me pull that up.
She has a
4.
plus 5. She's a 5?
4.
She has a low dex.
Mm-hmm.
So Jazeera. Okay.
Oh, this is not good. This is not good on a variety of levels.
Okay, here we go. All right. Is Doran starting, or does she have a higher dex or initiative than Doran?
Hold up, I'm pulling it up. Da, 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 da. Okay. Doran
Oh.
is starting.
Okay.
This is a
This is
would this
bad.
question be appropriate now? You can tell me whether or not. Is this familiar to me watching, like with my study of dragons, watching a creature turn from not to a dragon?
You've heard that some rare dragons do have innate magical abilities. It's not common. And for a creature that didn't start as a dragon to turn into a dragon takes some very powerful magic, usually. You get the sense that there is either a very strong, like there's a reason why she can do it, why this happened. You just don't know why.
So I get the feeling.
That it's not normal, it's not usual, this is not something
Yes.
most dragons can do.
But it's so I get the feeling like it was actually a little girl turning into a dragon, not a dragon disguising itself as a little girl.
Yeah, I'd say you probably get that sense.
Well, she's no longer a little girl, y'all.
Yep.
Nope.
All's fair
Doran's
in-
going to run forward and pull out his light crossbow. 25, and he's going to shoot a crossbow bolt at her.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
Roll a hit.
He doesn't have range. Oh, okay. That is a 22.
That does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is 3 points of damage.
3 points.
That's
All
a
right.
D8 plus 1. And that's all he got. He can't
Okay.
shoot more than twice. Or more than once.
Val, you're up next.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. That base is deceptive, you're right.
Okay, the dragon's on the ground, right?
Yes.
How high up is the ceiling above us?
It's about 20 feet up. It's a tall ceiling,
Okay.
but it's not huge. It's not a crazy large room.
So, but with her being young size, she's probably like looking like she's not got a whole lot of room to move.
Not a whole lot, no.
Okay, cool.
Actually, with Val's perception, you can see that the wings that she has are less developed, less muscular than you would normally expect to see with the rest of her physique. You get the sense that she probably doesn't use them very much.
Fair enough. All right, I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 here. And I'm going to cast Toll the Dead.
Okay. That is
Actually,
what
no,
save?
I'm sorry. Wrong one. Guiding Bolt, first level.
To roll to hit.
That's dexterity, right?
Guiding bolt.
Or is that roll to hit?
Yeah, roll to hit.
Okay.
17 plus 8.
25? Yeah, that hits.
All right, and that is 46. $18 points.
18.
And the next attack has advantage.
Advantage, yes. That would be halberd.
You're welcome, buddy.
Yeah, but I already have advantage on that attack. So can I get triple advantage? I'm gonna pull out one of my regular poisoned arrows, not the.
Okay.
Please.
Why do you have advantage on, not because of guiding bolt?
Assassin trait.
Yeah, assassin.
They have taken their.
So if they haven't taken their turn in combat yet, I get an attack on them.
So it's not just if they're surprised?
No, surprise
Okay.
is a crit.
Okay,
An
good deal.
automatic
Go ahead.
crit. Okay. 18 plus.
Oh, that hits.
Cool. And that's extra d6. I rolled with the wrong one earlier.
Yeah, it's a D8 with a bunch of D6s. Because you have what, 2 sneak attack?
2 sneak attack plus 6 on the poison. 6, 12, 19 plus 4 is 23.
Yes, savage attacker. You dummy.
23 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Math. Okay. Anything else, Halberd?
Yep.
Bonus action rage.
I'm going to. Yeah, can I get that? Is that possible? Take my next shot, my second attack.
Okay.
Yeah. I will. That's going to be a 17 to hit.
Misses.
Hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good right now.
Okay. Kazator,
Yes.
you are up.
I suppose I will move kind of in between the 2 vines that are in front of me, kind of northeast of me, and take a couple shots with crossbow.
All right, roll to hit.
That's not going to hit. That's like a 9, I'm pretty sure.
It's a +1 crossbow.
Yeah, that's a 10.
Woo!
Yeah, no, that misses.
Oh.
That is a modified 20.
That does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okie dokie. +3. So we got 8, 9 plus fire damage. This probably is not much. 9 piercing, 2 fire. Which I'm sure
Nice.
resistance. I guess that's action bonus for those 2 shots. Is that our little rogue friend north of me?
Yep.
No. Who's on the purple base?
Oh,
is that Doran?
That's Doran.
Okay, cool. It's hard to tell from the top view. Action bonus. Okay, yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Now it is her turn. She is going to
It's not very cool.
jump across the water up onto the other side.
Wait, where on to the other side?
On top of Doran?
Almost directly on top of Doran, where she can get the three in a line there if she can.
She would move to about right here. Right about there?
Like right about there. Can she get at least two of them in a 5-foot line?
She can get all three of us.
No.
Okay. I need everybody in that line to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay. No, never mind. Val's not in it. It's Doran and myself.
Yeah, she can either get Doran and Val or Doran and Solyax.
She's gonna go for Solyax.
Okay. All right. Dexterity saving throws.
Dexterity saving throw.
Doran gets +4. Okay, that's not good. Doran did stupid good once again. Doran got a 21. And I got a 13.
13.
You do understand,
All right,
like, as a tank, you don't
Solyax?
have to always take the hit.
Yeah.
All right. As she leaps over, you can see her preparing. She's inhaling, she's breathing in, and there's a bubbling and hissing as saliva drips from her mouth as she prepares to spray out her acid breath. Doran is close enough, he can see this coming and has just enough time to avoid the majority of it. Solyax, unfortunately, you are hit full on in the face with the acid breath. You take 60 points of damage. Doran takes 30.
Oh.
Ow.
Say that again?
Yeah, I rolled real well for that.
Okay. Ouch. Doran took 30.
Oh, jeez.
Ow.
You have potions, right? You got lots of potions?
None of them stop acid.
No, but at least
Yeah. No.
I mean I can heal you if you need me to, but
Don't worry. Okay. Okay.
dude, that was not good.
Yeah.
What are you
Um,
down to?
Okay.
Solyax,
Uh-huh.
she's gonna stay there. Solyax, you're up.
Okay. Bonus action. I'm drinking a greater healing potion because I have a bunch of those in the bag. So that is 2, 4, 13 plus 4.
No, that's 13 total. That was 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 4. It's 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 4 is 13.
Oh, okay. I got balls. Okay. So that was my bonus action. And then as an action,
Perhaps a barbarian when you need one.
I'm going to get out of this line. 10, 15. Can I climb up? Like, can I get into this water?
Yeah, it's about 4 feet to step up to the ledge of it, and then it's a pool of water that is sort of inset like that. Well,
So about 4 feet deep.
yeah, about 4 feet deep. Solyax, as you get close enough to see, you see it's not actually water.
I was about to ask that. You said it was bubbling. It's not water, is it?
It is bubbling, it is hissing, it is a lightly tinted green, probably acidic solution.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so in place of that, I am going to cast a second level guiding bolt at her.
All right, roll to hit.
All the guiding bolts.
Ooh, that was a natural 19 for
Very nice.
24.
Yeah, that is going to hit.
What's the damage on a second level guiding?
I can tell you that
Yeah,
actually.
what is that?
Guiding bolt is 5d6.
5d6. Okay. Need a d6. Thank you.
Not bad, not bad.
16 points of radiant damage.
Nice.
And the next attack has advantage.
Let me math this real quick.
How's it going?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so do I need to spend my turn doing all, or do I need to just pour on the damage?
Next up is Jazira's turn, who sees everything that's happening. She is going to, she's going to pull out her short bow and make a hit with that. That is going to hit. She sees the arrows sink into sort of the wing joint. That is going to be a nice
You have advantage
7
on
points
that
of
roll.
damage. Oh, let's see if it's a 20. Nope, still hits though. 9. Why is it so much easier when other people are telling me the numbers than trying to do it in my head?
Oh, right?
Because you're rushing. And you're like, hey, let's get this.
You're not wrong. So you see it sink in. It has a decently strong punch. Back to the top of the order. Doran is up.
Okay. Bonus action for Doran. He's going to use his second wind to try to heal himself a little bit. It's a D10. Okay, so he's going to. He heals 9 points of damage.
Decent.
Yeah, could have been better. Okay. And he's within 5 feet of her because he's right next to her. So he's going to swing with the hammer.
Nice.
That is a 20.
That hits.
Modified. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. I would attack her that because I can. That's slightly better. Not really. Okay. 6 points of slashing damage, 6 points of lightning.
Mhm.
And attack number 2. That's gonna miss. That's a 11.
Yeah, that misses.
Then he's gonna stay right there, right next to her.
Okay. Val, you're up. And then Halberd, you're on deck.
Quick the line.
Yeah, no, definitely. How's our little dragon friend looking?
Me?
She's definitely taken some damage. She's getting beaten. She's taking the hits. You don't see any gaping major wounds yet. It's not like you're beating her bloody yet.
All right, I don't like this. I'm gonna move. Stupid.
You are really bad about that.
You shut up. I don't care. All right, I'm gonna get right up next to her, and I am going to swing with my scimitar.
Okay.
That's cocked. That's better. That is a modified 20.
That hits.
All right, all the damages. Oh, nice. Plus, oh no, that's a D8. Sorry, wrong one. Sorry, not prepared. That's D10. I need the D8.
If you could.
There we go. Nice. Okay. So that is 8 points slashing, 8 points necrotic, and just because I can, we're gonna throw in a channel divinity, touch of death, to deal an extra 21 points necrotic.
Woo!
So 21 plus 16 total. And there's, I doubt it would be, but just in case, there's no resistance to necrotic.
Yeah.
Reaper.
No, I do remember that. As your attacks hit, you can see the sword sink in, and then as the touch of death comes into effect, you can see the flesh around your sword strike where it has slashed open just start to rot, where it has turned sickly and green and starts decaying on her body. Just gross smell permeating the air.
That's gross.
Really, really gross. And yes, you do see blood and ichor and all sorts of nasty things starting to seep from this wound.
All right. So that was my action.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bonus action healing word?
You didn't cast a spell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes as in you did, or yes as in you didn't?
No, I did not. Okay,
Yeah,
so
go for it.
bonus action healing word. Mark that off. 6 points to Solyex.
Good deal.
Every little bit helps.
Halberd. Or anything else, Val?
No, that's all I got.
All right, Halberd.
Zephyr strike for my bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
Sharpshooter feat plus 10 to damage, -5 to hit.
Right.
I'm using an
Roll to hit.
aberration tooth arrow.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I'm going to say that a 24 probably hits.
It does. You got a 24 even with the -5 to hit?
I rolled 2 18s.
Wow. Very nice.
Sorry, no, 23. My bad. My math's wrong.
He's
Still
using the
impressive.
disease tooth.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
That's a nasty one.
It is. All right, so that one is initial damage and then a con save, right?
Yes. I fully suspect the dragon to make.
Not when she rolls a natural 2, she doesn't.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, that's a nope.
Where's my other D10?
Yeah.
There it is. Let's see. 8, 16, 24, 32, 36, plus 4 is 40, plus 10 is 50.
Jeez.
50?
50.
Oh.
Right. You see the arrow. You've used your training. You know how these dragons move. You know what their instincts are, and especially black dragons, which you know are the most feral and most beast-like. You can anticipate how she's going to move, and you line up that shot, and you sink your arrow into her throat. The disease starts to spread. You can see the flesh starting to rot off of her body, connecting to where Val had already inflicted his fairly significant wound also. she's really hurting. You see the flesh starting to gape. You see the veins and where she's breathing starting to throb. She's trying to speak. She's trying to scream, and it's just rotting off of her body. She can't.
Nice. Also, that's a
Kazator.
+1 arrow, so that's a +1 on damage, and I still get my
Okay.
second attack.
And you still
Yeah.
have your second attack. That's
And
right.
your movement too.
Yes. I want to
Right,
get
second
all
attack.
the
What are you
way
doing?
to the corner if possible. With Zephyr Strike, I
No,
do
it's
get
fine.
extra movement. Wesley knows where.
Get all the way here. Because you can't get to that corner. You go.
Move me up then.
Okay, so
So, like, put me
Mhm.
more. And then second strike.
Go for it. Roll to hit.
That's a natural 2.
Because
Because you can't do awesome twice.
Hey, no, 51 points of damage is
take it.
crazy awesome.
I'll take it. And that's without an arrow attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That's legit. All right, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Kazator.
First question: how tall is the ceiling?
That one.
20 feet.
Yeah, about 20 feet.
20 feet? Oh wow.
you're also base to base to it.
Hmm.
You're base to base.
You're under its wing.
You're right next to it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just want to make sure.
So how tall is it? Is the wormling?
That's a young.
Yes,
Okay.
young.
Probably.
About 7-8 feet at the shoulder. The neck can
Oh,
stretch
wow.
up a little taller.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Well, I forgot to say where JoJo was last round. So
Jojo got eaten.
I can't do what I want to do with 20 feet anyway, so we'll just say JoJo's hiding safely so he doesn't get swiped.
Still
I
in the
will
stairwell.
I will take a shot at the dragon, and with one of my specific arrows that I put the silver wire on. So nothing special to it. It's just got silver wire running down the shaft.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hit.
I know. Yep.
Huh? It's going to be 19.
That does hit.
Come on.
Do it.
So that's going to be 3, 4, 5. My pad went to sleep. It doesn't like it has. Okay, so that's 3, 6, 7 points of piercing damage and 1 fire damage for the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then second attack is a 20. And that's
Still
gonna-
hits.
Oh my gosh. 5 piercing and come on. 3 fire.
Kazator. This one's yours. How do you want to kill it?
All right.
I was hoping it was gonna like shrink back to a little girl form or something. I feel kind of bad.
You see the crossbow bolt sink in.
I guess
What are you doing?
The first crossbow bolt that was with the silver wire was going to be for a heat metal, so I just aimed center mass with that, kind of straight to the chest. And then with the second one, I'll just take a step up under it and shoot it up, kind of up under through the jaw,
Mm-hmm.
pin the mouth
Nice.
closed.
Nice. You can see very clearly where where her throat has basically been flayed open, where the rotting diseased flesh is falling off of her. You can see all of the trachea, the esophagus, the veins pointing like an arrow up to the soft spot right under the jaw where you know you can you can make this shot. So you sidestep as her claws and her wings are flailing around. You line up your shot, you release your crossbow bolt, and it sails with perfect unerring accuracy straight up through the jaw. You see it sink all the way in. You see it start piercing out the top of her mouth. The jaws are pinned closed together, and her body just starts to plummet. I'm gonna go ahead and have you make a dexterity saving throw real quick.
Do you want Doran also, because he's next to it?
Doran is also right under her, right?
So is Val.
And so is Val. Then yeah, everybody who is right under where her body is collapsing, go ahead and make me dexterity saving throws.
Doran got a 7.
Doran moves a little slowly. He gets pinned by a wing.
I mean, the acid still kind of.
18.
18. You dodge out of the way just fine. Kazator?
Okay.
9.
9. You are right under the main sort of center of body. As her body is collapsing onto you, you are caught, pinned, just knocked slightly askew by the leg that's coming down and caught under the wing. You and Doran both go ahead and take 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and you're basically gonna need some help to get out.
I shoot the crossbow bolt up through the mouth, and I'm like, why do I always have to kill these things? Just smashed, flattened.
Whoa, that was unexpected.
Get them out.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Can we sit down for a minute, please?
We
And breathe? Because, ow.
drink some potions. I'm getting these guys out. We don't have time to just wait, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm going to start moving to try to get them out from underneath the
I'll
dragon.
help lift it and get them out. And then I'm gonna
All
take
right,
some-
with the help, go ahead and have Doran and Kazator make athletics checks with advantage.
Natural 20.
Figure it out.
Yes.
21.
Yep.
My natural
with-
20 is a total of 20.
I'm going to.
I'm gonna grab the glance.
Okay. With the assistance, providing sort of a fulcrum and lifting, and you're able to wiggle yourselves out from under the body of this young dragon. While y'all are preparing and getting things out, Jazeera locates the stairs leading down, heading into the next room. We are going to
Down.
go ahead and leading down.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And at this point, we're going to pause the session and come back
Okay.
at a later point.
Ow. That
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
I went down to
Acid
10.
breath.
I
Acid
went down
breath.
to 10.
Oh man, just be glad that wasn't a cone.
I'm gonna drink a potion real quick.
Are you at 70 hit points total?
Total, I'm at 29 right now. I'm about
No,
to
I know,
drink
but I was just because that's what I'm. Well, I'm at 75 with JoJo's boon, but
I'm up 7 more, so I'm at 30 something.
nice.
So are we pausing or stopping?
We'll go ahead and we'll stop the session here for today. It's late enough. I think this is going to be a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Yay.
We'll have Garrett with us.
That's
Welcome back.
combat.
Oh, jeez. That hurt.
That was cool.
I didn't almost die on this one.
Good job.
Somehow I still did.
It wasn't 2 though.
It was close to 2.
All right, well, this has been fun, Lauren. This has been great. I
This
look
has
forward
been
to us
fun.
continuing this tower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun tower, guys.
Yeah.
No, great
Um,
job on the maps.
Yeah.
Good.
Maps and
you.
puzzles have been good.
It's been awesome.
We totally had an escape room. That was freaking awesome.
Well done.
Thank you. Y'all did great with it. Very clever figuring things out. 2 thumbs up. Thank you to our viewers for coming with us on this adventure. We hope you come back next week. Yeah, take
Maybe
care of
next week.
yourselves. Next
might
session.
possibly 2
We'll
weeks.
say
Yeah,
next
next
session.
session.
We'll let you know. Keep us keep tuned in to our social media.
Keep.
Facebook, Twitter,
Bye-bye.
Instagram. You can find us on the Keep RPG, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.